champion New York Yankees against the Toronto Blue Jays in the first of three from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, New York. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees Baseball along with Ken Singleton. I'm Michael Kay. Everybody at the Yes Network sends out best 4th of July weekend wishes. We hope that you have a great holiday weekend with your family and friends. Now, the Yankees started out well last night or yesterday afternoon when they won 4-2, but it was very odd. The game-winning home run was hit by Alex Rodriguez, but he didn't know what home run and what inning it was.
He didn't know the inning. He knew it was going to be a game winner. It turned out to be a game winner for him and the Yankees, but it was the 8th inning. Alex thought he was batting in the bottom of the 9th inning when he touched this one off into the seats. Watch him thrust the hand in the air. He thinks the game is over. He's looking for his teammates to come meet him at home plate. Well, of course, there was a 9th inning to go, the top of the 9th, and he thought everybody was going to come out and rush the field. I thought it was a walk-off. Well, actually, it wasn't. It was just a game winner. Yankees won 4-2.
Alex Rodriguez starting to hit a lot better. 282, 12 home runs, 56 ribbies. His partner in crime right behind him in the lineup, Robinson Cano, also had a home run yesterday. 353, 16 homers, and 15 runs batted in. Let's look now at today's New York Lottery pitching matchup. Brett Cecil is going to go for the Blue Jays, 7-5, 4.39, and A.J. Burnett had an awful June. He's 6-7 with a 5.25, and they're trying to fix A.J.'s problems.
Speaking of the awful June, he went 0-5 in June with an inflated ERA over 11. Too many pitches in the middle of the plate. His mechanics were off. They were flawed tremendously. Another pitch in the middle against Manny Ramirez. Of course, Manny has done a lot of damage on pitches like this during the course of his career. But A.J. Burnett on Wednesday had a chance to work with Dave Island. The Yankee pitching coach is back after about a month's absence, and they worked on specifics in the bullpen, trying to get A.J. back to where he was at the beginning of the year. We'll talk more about it later, but he got off to a 4-0 start this year with an earned run average under 2. They're trying to get that back to that type of work.
He's got some big problems in that Blue Jay lineup. Jose Bautista and also his partner in crime, Vernon Wells. They provide some power. We'll talk about both of them next on segment 2. From the Yankees against the Blue Jays, you know the deal. That's Ken Singleton, and I am Michael Kay. Well, the Blue Jays are a little bit better this year than they were last year. Now, they're starting to take a little bit of a slide, but two guys have really jumped out, two guys in the middle of their order that are really carrying this team, at least power-wise.
Jose Bautista has gotten off to a great start this year. In fact, he's got a career high in home runs. He was the first major league hitter this season to get to 20 home runs. He was hitting a lot of fastballs. Lately, he's been getting a lot of curveballs. Now, Vernon Wells had a wrist injury last year, surgery in the offseason. He looks a lot better this year. Vernon Wells having a much better season, years that he has had in the past. The Blue Jays are looking for him to anchor their lineup.
Now look at the difference, Kenny. Bautista last year finished with 13 home runs and 40 ribbies. He's at 20 and 50 right now, although the batting average is lower. And for Vernon Wells, it's really a revelation. He finished with 15 and 66. Now he's at 19 and 47 at this point, and his batting average is 280. Well, those are two important guys that A.J. Burnett is going to have to deal with. How is AJ going to do? Is he going to bounce back from his struggles? Lineup, first pitch, baseball coming up next right here on Yes. McDonald's. Head to McDonald's for a refreshing, large sweet tea on the dollar menu. Price and participation may vary. Buy the 2010 Honda Clearance. It's the only thing from Honda that won't last. And by Avis, the official rental car company of the New York Yankees. It's a beautiful, beautiful Friday afternoon. Very rare do we have Friday matinees here at the stadium of the holiday weekend. That's exactly what we have right now. 3-day games against the Toronto Blue Jays. And why don't we take a look at the Blue Jays starting lineup presented by Lexus. Blue Jays coming in 40-40. They're 1-6 on their road trip, and they just got swept in 4 games by the Indians. They lead off their left fielder Fred Lewis. Alex Gonzalez, the shortstop, will bat second. Jose Bautista in right hits third. Cleaning up and playing center field, Vernon Wells, and it's Adam Lind at DH. Aaron Hill at second. Lyle Overbay at first. John Buck will catch, and Jared Hoffpower is the third baseman. He's going to bat ninth.
Former Toronto Blue Jay A.J. Burnett is on the mound for the Yankees today, and we'll get to his numbers in just a moment.
There's a quick look, and let's do it here in the Bronx as the pitch is upstairs, and we're underway.
Start number 17. He's lost 5 in a row, 6-7, ERA over 5 now, and you see the rest of the numbers as the opponents lately have had their way with A.J.
There's a strike.
Here's the scouting report. His last win was May the 30th against the Cleveland Indians. He went 0 for June. In day games, he's got a pretty good earned run average, 3.24. And hitter's revenge.
High pop-up, left field. Brett Gardner is there. 1 away.
Hitter's revenge. In only 1 season in A.J. Burnett's career has he given up more hits than innings pitched. And as you saw by the numbers, he's doing that again this year. So every other year, he's pretty much held the hitters down. This year, he has struggled to this point. Still half a season to go.
Here's Alex Gonzalez. Having a good season, signed as a free agent, has a 7-game hitting streak. He's 7 for 28. He swings and misses. A.J. made a start against the Blue Jays the day that Dave Island left the team for personal issues, and since that point, he really has struggled. 0-5 with 11.35 ERA, and they're really getting back to basics. You know, it just comes straight over the top, and Joe Girardi said today before the game, I wanted to establish his fastball early, but if it's not there, then go to the curveball. Don't keep trying to force the fastball.
Yeah, that game was June the 4th. As A.J. lost to the Jays by a score of 6-1. That was at the Rogers Center in Toronto. 6 innings, 6 hits, and 6 runs against the Jays that day.
Could not hold up. Cervelli tags out Gonzalez, and they're two away. Let's take a look at the Yankee defense, brought to you by Mercedes. You got Gardner, Granderson, and Swisher left to right in the outfield. A-Rod, Jeter, Cano, and Teixeira third to first. Cervelli is behind the plate, and Burnett is on the mound. And here is Jose Bautista. There's a strike, so A.J. working quickly and throwing strikes.
Yeah, one thing they were working on is throwing more downhill. In other words, straight at the batter instead of drifting with the front shoulder, opening up his pitches to he loses command of his fastball by doing so. So they want him to throw more straight downhill, just force his front shoulder towards the plate.
And the 0-2. Grounded to third and past A-Rod into left field for a base hit. So close to doing something which he had not done in 10 straight starts, and that's retire the side in order in the first inning.
There's that spike breaking ball, and this time Bautista doesn't really square it up all that much, but he hits enough of it just off the glove of Alex Rodriguez as the ball continues on to the left field. A-Rod got a piece of it, slowed it down, but couldn't come up with it cleanly.
And here is Wells.
These were the two hitters that we had talked about earlier, Bautista and Wells, who are propelling the Blue Jays offense, which lately has been struggling somewhat. Wells having a much better year this year than last year. Talked to him before the game about the wrist surgery. He said last year, Michael, that he got to a certain point in his swing and he had a torn tendon, and he only get the bat so far. The last 6 inches of his swing were not as quick as he would like. This year, it's all repaired, swinging much better. And 2 of the top 4 in home runs reside on the Toronto Blue Jays.
Swing and a miss. That's an impressive first inning for A.J. Burnett. He gets 2 strikeouts, no runs to hit, no errors, 1 man left on base. Blue Jays nothing, and the New York Yankees coming to bat. The name will pop out in blue.
And let's check out Brett Cecil, the left-hander on the mound for the Toronto Blue Jays. And Cecil, this year, this will be his 14th start. 7 wins, 5 losses, ERA 4.39. Less than a hit per inning. Opponents hitting just .241 against the young left-hander. Let's check out our scout report on Brett Cecil. Left-handed batters, he's really been tough on them. They're hitting just .178. He's been streaky this year. Right now he's on a bad streak. He's lost his last 3 starts. Prior to that, he had won 5 in a row. He's got a very good changeup. Actually, he cut his finger in spring training, And really, the only pitch he could work on was a changeup. So he perfected it. Now it's a very good pitch and an out pitch for him.
Here's the captain, Derek Jeter, going to lead off. The Yankees are 48-30. Derek 2 for 11 in the series against Seattle, where the Yankees only took 1 of 3. Yankees come into this game a game and a half ahead of Boston, 2 games ahead of Tampa Bay, and 9 games ahead of Toronto. And the Yankees have the best record in the major leagues.
Thing about Toronto, they've come in having been swept by the Cleveland Indians in a 4-game series. They've lost 5 in a row. There's manager Cito Gaston. His team leads the majors in home run hitting, but lately they've been getting out-homered and out-hit.
It's always dangerous when your whole offense is predicated on the home run, and those are the standings we spoke about, because good pitching is going to keep you out of the seats over the outfield wall. And you're going to have to produce runs, and they just don't know how to do that. They don't seem like they have the capability. Grounded foul. I remember that used to be the Yankee problem in the last couple of years under Joe Torre, where they weren't playing small ball to create runs when they didn't hit home runs. I think it cost them in the postseason. They were good enough that it didn't cost them in the regular season, Kenny.
Yeah.
But in the postseason against better pitching, they got shut down.
Or at least pitchers who were having real good years.
Yep.
I think that's why a player like Brett Gardner is important to the Yankees, because he's got 3 home runs, but that's not his game. He can make things happen in those tight ball games.
The 2-2. 3-2.
Cecil's one of those pitchers. He's not really overpowering. You saw that last one, 87 miles an hour, but his changeup is so effective it makes his fastball even more effective because it looks faster than it actually is.
And Jeter works a walk to start off the first inning. Let's take a look now at the Blue Jays defense, brought to you by Mercedes. In the outfield, Lewis, Wells, and Bautista. Wells can pick it. 3 Gold Gloves out there. Infield, Hoffpower, Gonzalez, Hill, and Overbay. Buck is behind the plate, and Brett Cecil's on the mound. Jeter walks, and he's now walked in 4 of his last 6 games. And here's Nick Swisher. Nick's keeping his fingers crossed because All-Star voting ended at 11:59 last night, and he had moved to within 4th place in American League outfielders, and he doesn't know how the final week turned out. Pitch is high, and Buck's going to go out and talk with Cecil.
Well, Swisher's having a year worthy of All-Star consideration.
Well, this day is worthy of All-Star consideration, so let's look at the game-time weather conditions presented by Bigelow 2. 77 degrees, 30% humidity. The winds are out of the north at 12 miles per hour, and the forecast is partly cloudy, but the all-important low humidity.
It's not Arizona low, though. What was it when we were out there?
6. 5 and 6% successive days. And thus comes a turn dry heat. So Cecil has lost the strike zone to count 2-0. Cecil's first 10 starts of the season, 7-2 with a 3.72 ERA, and Kenny detailed how he struggled of late, 0-3, 9.19 in his last 3 starts. Pitched very well against the Yankees on June 4th, 8 innings, 5 hits, 1 run. And there's a strike, just nipped the outside corner.
Yeah, as a young man who was born in College Park, Maryland. And so he was destined to be a Maryland Terrapin. Went to the University of Maryland. That's where it's located. Grew up in a household. His parents were big-time Yankee fans. And his favorite pitcher, Andy Pettit.
Pitch is high.
There's a changeup that he missed with.
It's Andy. And he'll get to see Andy Pettit pitch tomorrow against Ricky Romero. That's a nice matchup of left-handers. Another day game here at the stadium. just a little too quick on that one as he lines it into the Siege foul. And what new? Nick Swisher with the 3-2 count.
Let's see what happens with Derek Jeter here over at first base as the Yankees get aggressive. Have Derek on the move, trying to stay out of the possibility of a double play.
Overbay holds. Doesn't go, and the pitch is way outside. So 2 walks to open the game by Cecil, and the Yankees are set up. Those are the split numbers that we talked about. 5-0, 1.49 first 5, last 3. Something's gone awry.
Yeah, much in the same way that Andy Pettitte slows down the running game, Brett Cecil does the same. He's got a good move over the first, a good step-off move. He also has a good slide step move to the plate. So he slows down the running game. That might be a reason why Derek Jeter was not on the move. He was not going to get much of a jump anyway.
Here's Mark Teixeira, carries a 12-game hitting streak into this one, and he takes a first pitch strike.
Sure, not only is hitting 12 in a row, Michael, but another good sign, he's hit 19 of his last 21 games.
Slowly but surely that average starting to creep up now at 234.
Yeah, the key is a lot of those games were not multi-hit games. That's how you raise your average. Start getting those multi-hit games, or you have a game where you draw a walk and you get hit, you go 1 for 3. It's just steady climb every day.
Well, in the 12-game streak, and he only has 14 hits.
Yeah, so there's your not many multi-hit games.
Only 2 multi-hit games. Rob Thompson boots it, and he's going to hear it from his good buddy Brian Butterfield, former Yankee coach and now the third base coach for the Blue Jays.
Let's take a look at this. First of all, his back is turned. He has to watch the runner at second. That is his primary responsibility, and he doesn't have a glove, so.
Chop toward first. Overbay takes the sure out, and the runners move up. So as good as a bunt, except it takes points off the average of Mark Teixeira. And that'll bring up Alex Rodriguez.
Looked like a changeup off the end of the bat. Big high hopper to Overbay. He looked down at second, thinking that he might have a play on Swisher. Shows the easier play to get to Scher. Now, this is an interesting situation right from the beginning of the game.
It's funny, and it shows you that Alex now has the proper protection in the lineup. First base open, lefty on the mound, lefty on deck. The move would be to walk Alex. They're not doing that because Cano's so good. And Alex Rodriguez will get himself an RBI because of that. Catch is made by Wells. Jeter scores. Swisher moves to third. Sac fly from A-Rod. And the Yankees are up 1-0.
A-Rod also went to school. He was watching the previous hitters, and he got a changeup. It was up in the zone, so he was able to stay back just enough. I don't think he really got the good wood on this. Maybe a little bit off the end of the bat, but he's strong enough to get it out there to medium deep center field, and the Yankees have a run as the leadoff walk, which is never a good thing for a pitcher, comes in to score. 1-0 Yanks.
Does A-Rod know it's the first inning? Is that what he's saying? Is this the first inning?
Is that a walk-off?
I thought that was a walk-off sac fly. Well, the Yankees score first, and that's always a good omen. Why? Because they're 31-7 when they score first. And A-Rod now 17 of 24, getting the run in from third with less than 2 outs.
So the Yankees have scored without a hit.
IOTV offers you incredible HD picture and sound. HD is free with IOTV, the official HD service provider. Yankees baseball on Yes.
Throw out incredible again. That was
incredible.
saw the number on Cano. He's got 16 home runs. 10 of those are against left-handed pitchers. And in order for a left-handed hitter to be that successful, it's really got to be locked in. You see his numbers, 303, hitting 300 against left-handed and right-handed pitchers, really wearing out righties. But 10 of the 16 homers against lefties. Keeps that front shoulder tucked. In other words, he's not opening up too quick and leaving the outside part of the plate unprotected. Can't reach the pitch out there. Really having an incredible first half. Get that incredible first half of the season?
Want me to say it?
Go ahead.
Incredible.
That ought to do it.
Driven deep to center field. Wells back, still back, and he makes the play on the track for the final out of the inning. So Cecil will have to walk in the first two. Yankees gives up 1 run. Yankees lead 1. Cano thought he might have left the park, but just missed it. Favorite cookout food? You can text your vote to 58772. Standard text messaging rates apply. Is it 1 chicken, 2 hamburgers, 3 hot dogs, 4 ribs? Now, my favorite cookout food isn't even on the list.
Mine either.
Watermelon.
Something you can grill.
Well, they didn't say that. What do you have in a cookout? You have watermelon.
How about a steak?
A steak would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I think on that list it would be burgers for me. That's chopped up steak.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be the
right
high end.
Right. Usually it's not the high end. Here's Adam Lind. The next 2 batters in the Blue Jay lineup. I mean, really, it's almost hard to believe. Adam Lind and Aaron Hill. I mean, look at the difference. Lind, 305 last year, is 204 this year. Look at the power numbers. And really, I know you were sniffing around, Kenny. Look at the difference with Hill, too. What did you find out about this?
Both of them. One thing I found out about Lind, who's at the plate right now, is that he looking at last year's numbers, he's trying to repeat them in the first half of the season. And number 2 is that he's trying to pull the ball too much this year. Last year, he had a lot of power to the opposite field, particularly to Rogers Center, where the ball carries very well. But this year, he seems to, hit home runs and pull the ball too often, trying to hook the pitches on the outside corner. All he is getting are ground balls to second base.
I mean, those numbers,
yeah.
I mean, it's such a precipitous drop.
Yeah, both of them. And, you know, when you have a year like that and you're a young player, each of them with their first really big years in the major leagues last year, there's Hill on deck. I mean, the league goes to school on you. They've got videotape. They go over the videotape and they see what they can do better. Maybe they throw you more off-speed pitches, or they make sure they keep the ball away a lot better. Pitchers are going to make their mistakes, but it also tells you they're not hitting mistakes as well. And that's Hill's problem on deck. He's not hitting the mistakes this year like he did last year.
And then, Kenny, the organization has a little bit of a problem. Well, what's the real player? I mean, how do they judge? Was it last year or is it this year? Was last year the aberration or is this year the aberration? And Cito Gaston and the front office had to evaluate that.
Well, they already invested in Lind a 4-year deal. He got it after last season. Now, Lind, usually during the course of the game when he's DHing like he is today, he'll sit near Cito Gaston, because Cito, when he first came to the major leagues, he was a hitting coach and a very good one. And one of Cito's teachings to his hitters, look for that first fastball and go for it. And it really applied to the whole team early in the year. Blue Jays were hitting home runs off the chart early in the season.
Strike 3. Lind down looking. Third strikeout for A.J. Burnett.
But the league has kind of caught on, and they're mixing in a few more breaking balls. This is a well-spotted fastball to the outside corner. Good reception by Francisco Cervelli. Hardly moved at all as he took the pitch. It might have been a hint outside, or it just caught the corner, according to home plate umpire Mark Wegner, as Lind is frozen. So far, so good for A.J. Burnett.
Here's Aaron Hill, 191. And that's going to go down as that ball goes down into the glove of Teixeira.
Be interested to see the location of that pitch, because I thought it was a pretty good pitch to hit, and he popped. This is what I'm talking about. Last year, he's got a quick bat. It was going out of the ballpark. Set a Blue Jay record for home runs by a second baseman. That pitch is right down the middle, and he popped it up. And he's missing these type of pitches. Last year, that ball would have been scorched somewhere. Just not working.
Here's Lyle Overbay.
Now, hitters like Lind and Hill, they really need an all-star break, where they just clear their heads for a few days, not think about baseball, not think about hitting, and try and get off to a good start in the second half.
Well, they can both feel comfortable that they're not going to be on the American League team, so they will have that time off. There's a strike. The 1-1. The 2-1. Outside, 3-1. 5 career starts against his former team, the Blue Jays, and AJ 2-2 with a 4.29.
So far to me, it looks like AJ's got his downhill working. He's got a couple more miles per hour today. 94, 95.
That one is lined into right center field. It's a base hit. Granderson will cut it off, and a base hit with 2 outs by Overbay.
Overbay recently reached a milestone on Wednesday night in Cleveland. He got the 1,000th hit of his career. He's having a good road trip. Now 9 for 23 on this trip. 1,000 hits.
That's going to bring up John Buck. Now, if you look at Buck's numbers, this one's significant. That's the most home runs that any Blue Jay catcher has ever had before the All-Star break. And the backup catcher is former Yankee Jose Molina.
Does that include Buck Martinez, too?
Yes.
Yeah. Buck Martinez. Man, there's Buck. You got a buck at the plate and a buck at the booth. You got $2.
Yeah, you still need another couple of cents to get on the subway. Check swing, grounded softly, and it squeaks through for a base hit. That's an excuse me single.
See how Buck is smiling at first. I would be too. Didn't mean to hit it. Cano broke to his right. Watch Cano break a little bit to his right. And then he can't recover, get back to his left. And that was a 1,000 hopper that got through the infield. Check swing. base hit. If you figure my first at bat's going to be like that, what's the rest of the day going to be like?
Here's Jarrett Halfpower. Fouls it back.
Halfpower came up from AAA. Las Vegas was having a good year down at AAA.
Actually hit for the cycle twice in Las Vegas this season. And that is certainly the city where you can get on a roll.
I haven't been to Vegas in a long time.
Went there last winter for a fight. It's still the same.
Yeah. What happens there stays there.
Usually.
Yeah, but if you can make it here, you can make it anywhere. Even Vegas.
The 1-1. Now, Cervelli said that was foul tipped. The runners move up, and he was arguing with the umpire. He said, well, wait a minute, that was foul tipped. And the home plate umpire, Mark Wegner, said no, so Joe Girardi's going to come out for clarification.
Let's see. Let's see what we can tell here. It didn't look to me like he touched it. Looked like a clean. Well, that angle is really definitive.
That's a wild pitch. I got to tell you, that's a pretty tough call.
I think that's a pass ball.
That's got to be a pass ball that didn't bounce. How's that a wild pitch?
It was a swing and a miss.
When you watch this doesn't even go into dirt. That's not a wild pitch. But that's the way they score it.
Okay, I've got the whiteout marker just in case.
All right, keep it handy. Yankees up 1-0. And the 1-2. Now that would have been a wild pitch. Second and third, 2 outs, 2-2 count. And the pitch. Now, one thing we're noticing with AJ, and he had told Kim Jones this earlier, he has been all over the pitcher's rubber. He started in the middle. From pitch to pitch, he was moving. That's never a good thing, because that means that your crosshairs on the plate is changing. He's married now to that first base side of the rubber. He has not moved since the beginning of the game. Cervelli wants to talk with him. This is one of the situations where AJ has actually excelled this year. He's been tough with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Just 10 for 52. That's 192. The 2-2. Swung on and missed. And Cervelli gets an angle and a nice stretch there by Teixeira. How much has AJ struggled? That's the first time since May 30th he's gone through 2 innings scoreless. let's see. 2 more games against Toronto tomorrow and Sunday afternoon. Then it's on to the West Coast. 3 night games in Oakland, all on yes. Then 4 games in Seattle, 3 night games, and the 1 afternoon game, again, all on yes. And after the 11th, the game on the 11th, some Yankees will go to Anaheim. The other Yankees will go home as they begin the All-Star break.
Oakland and Seattle. Long way from here, huh?
Very long. Oh, that cookie looks good. Here's Posada. Jorge actually sent a gift up to the booth to the 2 of us. And it's what they call Cinco Anilos Sangria. There it is. And Cinco Anillos, Kenny looked it up, means 5 rings. And so I said to Jorge, I said, what's the deal with the sangria? He goes, I want to become the Greg Norman of baseball. And I said, really? He goes, no, we're actually making this for the foundation so people could buy it. It's made especially for the Jorge Posada Foundation for craniosynostosis. And you can donate to the foundation through his website and buy some sangria.
Way to go.
Cinco Anilos. There's Curtis Granderson. And there's a strike. Grounded to first. Overbay will step on the bag for the second.
2 of the better fielding first basemen in the league in this series. You got, of course, Mark Teixeira, who is the Gold Glove winner, and Lyle Overbay. Very smooth at first base. Very smooth. There's the catch of the ball, and the bare hand comes down on top to secure it. And that made it look easy.
Cervelli rockets one to left field. It's a base hit. Fred Lewis cuts it off, and he holds Cervelli to a single. So Cervelli breaks an 0 for 13 slide with that base hit.
First pitch he sees. And that 13 is in the rearview mirror. He's now 1 for his last 1. Solid single in left field. Good play by Lewis to cut it off. Cervelli took a big turn at first base as he was thinking about scoring position with 2 outs. There's that turn at first, and that's the way you're supposed to do it. Hustle around the back. You can always come back to first base, but you have to have momentum if you're going to try and make it to second. Good hustle.
Now Francisco needs some hits. He's hitting just 177 over his last 27 games entering that at bat. So he's come back down to earth. Remember, he got off to that great start when Posada was hurt. But the more you see a player, and Kenny mentioned this before, it's a game of adjustments. The pitchers have made some adjustments to him, and now he's got to adjust back or readjust. There's a strike. Count 0-2 to Gardner. Got nice weather this weekend for the July 4th weekend, which is great. Check swing. Did he go? Yes, he did, said Jerry Meals, and Gardner not too thrilled. So a strikeout of the number 9 batter in the Yankee lineup as Cecil works a scoreless second. No runs a hit, and 1 man left. Let's go to the third. It's 1-0 Yankees. in the top of the third. You know by now, we visit with our good friend Kimberly Jones, stationed in her favorite spot, right there in the third base camera well. Hello, Kimberly Jones.
Hello, Michael Kay.
Now, I know that you've spent a lot of time in the confession booth with A.J. Burnett. You've served as his therapist over this stretch. So what are you seeing right now?
Well, I'll tell you what. Dave Eiland reminded me again today after pregame that his catchphrase for A.J. today was all energy toward home plate. And through 2 innings, we are seeing that. That cleans up a lot of the mechanical bad habits A.J. got into as his confidence suffered in June, and he just searched for something. And in searching, he really fell off. First of all, he was falling off the mound, but his arm was dragging, the ball was flattening out, he had no command, he wasn't staying back. The list goes on, and Dave cleaned those up Wednesday during AJ's bullpen. He said he has to not only carry them to the mound today, but he has to repeat them. And 2 innings in, he has some good signs already, and he's done it through 2.
Did you get a sense that they felt he was going to pitch much better today, or are they just crossing their fingers?
Dave thought he absolutely would, as long as he carried some of those lessons from the pen over. More importantly, I'd tell you, Michael, yesterday AJ said, I said, do you hope you have a better start Friday? He said, I don't hope. I know I will. So he was confident. I've told you all along, that's the most important thing with this guy. And my guess is, Michael, he will say after the game he got more confidence early today, not giving up anything in the early innings. And you mentioned, Kenny, that pitch that Aaron Hill just missed. Mm-hmm. Lately, AJ's been feeling every mistake he makes gets hit and hit hard. That one didn't.
The one thing that's unusual about AJ, in comparison to other players, and the pitch to Lewis is low, and you've covered many different athletes throughout your career, Kim, is that when he struggles, he doesn't mind talking about it. Other guys just go into a shell and they don't even want to go near the media. But AJ it was almost cathartic for him to talk about how he struggled. Very honest. Yeah,
and he is honest. I mean, I told you in Arizona, Michael, he said, this is why I'm a career 500 pitcher and I'm frustrated by it, as he walks Fred Lewis. But AJ is honest about it. I don't know if that makes it any better when the fans hear that message, but I think it does set him apart in terms of he's willing to kind of fess up. Now he just has to fix it, though, because the Yankees need him to turn this around.
You know, I was talking to CC Sabathia, Kevin. I brought up the Dave Eiland and Mike Harkey thing, and I think a lot of the pitchers are protective of Mike Harkey, who's a good guy and everybody likes him, and he had to fill in for Dave Eiland. And Sabathia said, you know, Hark works just as hard as Eiland and gives the same messages, but sometimes it's a certain voice that resonates, and maybe Eiland resonates more with Burnett as Fred Lewis goes and got a great jump. He's going to steal second, and that's something they're not going to fix with AJ because people steal bases on AJ Burnett.
Yeah, and he actually says, Michael, that actually doesn't bother him. He figures he can strike the next guy out, and that's where the positive thinking will come into effect. As Lewis just stole second, you wonder, and I know he's probably thinking right now I got to strike out Gonzalez and get an out here. But you're right about Mike Harkey, and AJ also is protective of him, saying, Harkey and Girardi did everything they could in June to help me. I just wasn't able to do it. There is something about his communication with Eiland, though. Short, sweet, to the point, and AJ seems to get it.
It's almost like the two of us, Kim.
Is it?
I think so. We have great communication.
We really do.
We really do. Short, quick, right to the point.
Often, yes.
We'll see you in the postgame.
Sounds good.
Short, quick, right to the point. That's Kimberly Jones.
But a great message.
A great message. Yeah. 23 out of 26 stolen bases against A.J. Burnett. He only had 3 runners caught. He just has a high leg kick. Doesn't have a great move to first. The 2-0 to Gonzalez. Outside 3-0.
Yeah, the thing about confidence, and you heard Kim use that word quite often in applying it to A.J. Burnett in his outing today. If you don't have confidence when you're on the mound or at the plate or even in the field, you just shouldn't be out there. Because if you don't feel that you can do it, or you have any doubt that you can, it's just not going to work out.
Now that might elicit a response from Eiland. Yeah, is he going to go out and talk with him? Yep, right away. Because what you have to do with AJ as he's trying to break out of this, Kenny, is nip it right in the bud. Yeah. And you can see he's starting to fall out of it and opening up a little bit as he tries to get a little bit more on his pitches. But the one thing that we've seen from AJ all year is he pitches better with men on base. With the bases empty, going out of his big windup, 322. That's what the opponent hit against him. And with men on base, 244 working out of the stretch.
Yeah, maybe because it's a little more compact with his delivery.
Here's Bautista.
Let's go back to Toronto, and there's a fastball middle of the plate. You saw the reaction of A.J. right away. He knew that where that was going. Bautista, as we mentioned, first hitter in the major leagues to 20 home runs this year, but lately he's been getting a lot of breaking balls. He just got one there for ball one.
3 for 3 against Burnett, 2 of the 3 home runs. There's a strike. Good pitch on the outside corner.
Fred Lewis is doing a lot of dancing out there at second base, and sometimes that can be a distraction to the hitter. A lot of movement back there with Lewis and Cano trying to hold them close. And if you're a hitter, you want to concentrate on the pitcher and not see all that much movement behind them. Behind him, I should say.
Another good pitch on the outside corner, 1-2.
Well spotted. Knee high outside corner. Got him set up for that breaking ball away.
Off-speed pitch. Way out in front was Bautista. Granderson makes the catch. Lewis tags. He just draws the throw. Cut off by Jeter. Nice pitching there by A.J. Burnett. So let's take a look at the pitch-by-pitch brought to you by Suzuki Kizashi.
Well, he falls behind on the first pitch. He's gone to a breaking ball. And it's in the dirt for ball one. Well spotted fastball. Next one's even better. Boom. Strike two. Jumps ahead. Then goes to breaking ball. That one kind of hung a little bit, but he got away with it as Bautista flies out to center field.
Pitch to Vernon Wells is outside. Let's look at the Home Depot scouting report on Vernon Wells.
Well, Vernon Wells leads the American League in extra base hits with 44. He's having a tremendous year. 84 hits overall, leads the Jays, and only Carlos Delgado in the history of the Toronto Blue Jays has hit more home runs than Vernon Wells.
He really has come back from a couple of awful years that Kenny mentioned, the wrist problems that he had had. But the Blue Jays literally could not give him away last year. They were trying to move that big salary, and they were willing to eat a lot of it. No one wanted to even take a chance. White Sox took a chance on Alex Rios, but nobody bit. No one bit on Vernon Wells.
Rios having a pretty good year with the White Sox.
And there's a big drop-off. And home run drop-off. Not the same player since the end of 2006. This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the New York Yankees. Count 3-1. There's always a problem with A.J. when he's not commanding both of his pitches. Today, it looks like he has command of the fastball, and he's having a little bit difficulty throwing the breaking ball for strikes. keeps hitting that outside corner with that 94-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right on the knees. That's going to be difficult for right-handed hitters to deal with. And why is that a tough pitch for right-handed hitters or any pitch down and away? Because it's the furthest from your eyes and harder to gauge whether it's going to be a strike or not. And also, you have to reach for it somewhat to hit it.
Nubbed up the first baseline, fielded there by Teixeira, and he gets the second out as the runners move up.
The reason why he was able to get Wells to swing at that pitch, and I'm not so sure if it was a strike or not, was because that other pitch had been called a strike. So Wells goes after it, and yeah, that one was a ball. But Wells not taking any chances, hits it off the end of the bat, a slow number down to first baseman Mark Teixeira. We're going to get a good look at, yeah, that was off the plate, but he does put it in play. But once again, tough to judge whether it's going to be a ball or a strike. Now, we could see there was a ball.
Second straight inning, runners on second and third, 2 outs. Here's Adam Lind, who struck out looking in the second. Fouls that one back.
Yeah, he had a good swing at that one. Those numbers are almost hard to believe. You have 203 with 9 homers.
Foul back.
At the end of last year, Cito Gaston, the manager, was thinking of having Hill hit third and Lind hit fourth. But then Vernon Wells came to spring training healthy. He was swinging the bat well, so he stuck Vernon in the fourth spot, and that's worked. But these other two young hitters have not really held up their end of the bargain in the Blue Jays order.
Crowd looking for the strikeout. 0-2 count on Lind. Runners on second and third. The pitch. Popped him up. Off-speed breaking ball. Anderson is there, and he makes the play, and he wiggles out problems again. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 men left on base. We go to the bottom of the third, 1-0 Yanks. Powered by Heineken Light. See the light. And by Acela Express. Enjoy the journey. Nice big holiday crowd here at the stadium with the Yankees leading 1-0. Yankees got their run in the first inning on a sac fly off the bat of Alex Rodriguez. And that's the only scoring. Now the Blue Jays have threatened in the previous 2 innings, but A.J. Burnett was able to get the big out. Top of the lineup against Brett Cecil, and Derek Jeter leads off. And pitch outside, 1-0. Derek walked and ended up scoring that run in the first inning. That one is driven to left field. It's a base hit. Lewis cuts the ball off. Jeter with a leadoff single here in the third.
Now 2,841 hits. Hanging breaking ball. Hanging cutter. Boom. Squared it up. Solid line drive after Fred Lewis in left field. Getting ever closer to 3,000 hits.
It'll come sometime next year. Here's Nick Swisher. He walked in the first inning.
Second time through the order now. They've got a little bit of idea in their mind how hard Cecil's throwing, how his breaking ball's working. Change up, does it sink a little bit down and away? Of course, Swisher usually make you throw strikes anyway, no matter what you're doing out there. And it should be a pretty good pitch to hit.
You know, Nick is a little bit of a different bird, Kenny. You know, most players, if you say something nice about them or you write something nice about them, you'll never hear about it. Now, if you say something nasty about them or you write something nasty, then you'll hear about it. So you could say 100 nice things, never hear a word. One bad thing, and you will. That's just human nature, I guess. As Nick Swisher walks for the second time. Well, in Yankees Magazine this month, I wrote a column that was complimentary about Nick Swisher, the type of person he is, the type of game he plays. Cool. And he walked up to me behind the batting cage and goes, "That was so nice of you to write that. Thank you." I mean, that is, I'm telling you, everybody, that's so different than the normal person and the normal player. You just don't get thank yous, and you don't want them when you say something nice. But Nick Swisher went out of his way to thank me. He's just that sort of guy. Different bird.
Like in Baltimore when I introduced him to Eddie Murray. And he was like a little kid.
He was effusive, right?
Oh, it was the ball. He had the ball. He was practically genuflecting in front of Eddie. You know, just the next day. Thanks for introducing me to Eddie Murray.
And also, Kenny, the thing that got me about Nick is a lot of people look at Nick and they think, well, I mean, that energy and niceness, it's an act. And it's really not, because Eddie Murray was, the day that he met him through you, he was riding up in an elevator with Kimberly at Camden Yards. And they were talking about Nick. And Eddie Murray said, he's really high energy. He said, but I don't mind it because I looked into his eyes and he's real. And that one's fouled away. Now, Nick Swisher had a good year last year, but he's having a much better year this year. He has 79 hits, Kenny, this year. You know that he didn't get his 79th hit last year until, give me a guess.
I would say middle of August.
August 6th. So he's really improved his game with the work that he did with Kevin Long in Arizona. Runners go. Pitches inside. Throw to third. Netting time. Double steal.
Well, a lot of times the catcher takes the blame for not being able to throw out runners, but Jeter, who's always been good at stealing third base, this is going to be his 9th steal of the year overall, but he got a great jump off Brett Cecil, who didn't pay much attention to him, and now the Yankees are set up second and third and nobody out. Nick Swisher didn't get caught at the station either. He followed Jeter's lead and got into second base.
Pitch inside.
And for Swish, that's his first stolen base of the year.
And another walk. Now 4 walks on the game for Cecil, and the bases are loaded. Nobody out for Alex Rodriguez. the bases loaded, we give you this stat. The Yankees have 7 grand slams this year, and A-Rod has 2 of them.
Alex has been pretty good with the bases loaded in his career. You got 20 grand slams?
Yep.
Patience, discipline, and make the pitcher throw a strike. Get ahead on the count, which he is right now. Cecil's been all over the place. So right now he's just thinking throwing a strike as opposed to really going for the corners. This is yesterday. That pitch was up. Might have been a ball. But A-Rod got the good wood on it and drove it into the seats in right center. That gave the Yankees the win at 4-2.
Alex with a sac fly in the first inning. More RBIs out there right now here in the third. And Cecil has really lost his strike zone.
Yeah, he cannot find it. But when a pitcher is like this, Michael, I tell you, he's just as apt to throw one just like he did well out of strike zone as throw one right down the middle just to get a strike.
There's the all-time Grand Slam list. The Iron Horse is first. Manny Ramirez of the Dodgers second. And Alex Rodriguez third. Jeter's at third. Swisher's at second. And Teixeira is at first. The 2-0. Strike. Count 2-1. Took something off that one. The count 2-2.
Now, when Alex drove in the run in the first inning, he stayed back on a changeup and flied out to center field and got a sac fly. That was a better pitch. That one really dove.
Swing and a miss. Big comeback by Cecil as Rodriguez foul tips it into the glove of Buck. Let's take a look at how they went at Alex with the pitch by pitch, brought to you by Suzuki Kizashi.
Well, immediately Cecil falls behind in the count, trying to get inside with a cutter. Another one, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Comes back and got one in there for a call strike. There's a good changeup. 2-2. Looked like a high fastball. Foul tipped into the glove for strike 3. As Michael called it, a good comeback by Cecil to get A-Rod out of there. Saw the ball foul tip off the bat, but John Buck able to hold it.
Well, this is the Yankee lineup now and the problems it presents. So you get through one of the best players in baseball history, and now you have to deal with the Major League's batting average leader, Robinson Cano. With the bases loaded this year, Cano is 4 for 8. Cano with a deep fly ball to center field. That was in the first inning. Ended that inning. Right in on the hands of Cano, and the count 0-2. .51 pitches, and it was a 1-to-1 strike-to-ball ratio. That's not great. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Cano. So he strikes out A-Rod and strikes out Cano. Now one batter away from getting out of a bases loaded, nobody out jam.
They're trying to get underneath the hands with the pitch, and that was right in the fringes of the strike zone. But Cano underneath it can't get on top of a high fastball. And this is more of a product of the changeup that Cecil has. The hitters are somewhat caught in between. Fastball a little too fast, changeup a bit too slow.
And that leaves it up to Posada. Now the bases loaded, 2 outs. Count 1-0. Grounded to second. Grabbed there by Hill. Now what a job by Brett Cecil. Bases loaded, nobody out. He strikes out A-Rod, strikes out Cano, and gets Posada to ground to second. We played 3. interlocking NY on the front against the backdrop of a Bronx sky. It's time for the New York State Smokers Quitline Quiz. Yesterday, A-Rod hit his 250th home run in his 963rd game as a Yankee. Got that? Now, who's the only player to hit 250 home runs in fewer games with the Yankees? A lot of home run hitters, so try to find out who did it a little quicker than A-Rod. Here's Aaron Hill, and there's a strike.
Now, you think of all the great home run hitters the Yankees have had over the years?
I can't guess, Kenny, because I actually I read it on the sheet before I peeked, so I know. And I can't guess anyway because there are hard and fast rules. Yeah,
there are.
To lose your job, and awful to lose your job in a week. The 1-1. Grounded foul outside of third. Kid down there been making some good plays the last couple of games. He's living up to the the standard set by the great Skippy, but doing a nice job.
Skippy's in the Ball Boy Hall of Fame, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yeah. That one's popped up. And Cervelli makes the catch for the first out.
One thing you notice about Cervelli, he wears sunglasses while he's catching. And here on a bright, sunny day, that might be definitely a help. A lot of catchers don't, and you see them using their glove to shield their eyes from the sun, but he's got the sunglasses on. He's got them working. And he makes it look easy.
Here's Lyle Overbay. Overbay fouled away.
About Overbay and his ability to field his position at first base, but he's like a second tier of first baseman in the league. Then you got the big guys who really hit well. Get Cabrera, Teixeira.
That one's driven deep to center, and Granderson makes the play. Oh, what a play by Curtis Granderson. He turned the wrong way initially, righted himself, and just hauled it in.
I thought for a second here when he turned over his left shoulder, the ball is actually over his right shoulder. He makes the correction in midstream and makes the catch at the wall. For a second here, I thought he wasn't going to get there. Concentration, reaches out and hauls it in. Let's go to the IOTV HD super shot. Wow, right into the glove, and he holds on.
John Buck swings and misses.
Sometimes in the outfield, you make that fatal wrong step and you can't make the play. And there's a reaction from A.J. Burnett.
What a pick-me-up for a pitcher.
It looked like that was going to turn into an extra base hit.
And A.J. looks like he's going to work a 1-2-3 inning for the first time today. Swisher battling the sun puts it away for the final out of a 1-2-3 inning. And A.J. did it on just 9 pitches thanks to this play by Curtis Granderson for the second out. We go to the bottom of the fourth. It's 1-0 Yanks. York State Smokers Quit Line Quiz. The question, A-Rod hit his 250th home run yesterday in his 963rd game as a Yankee. Now, who's the only player to hit 250 home runs in fewer games with the Yanks? And the answer is only one answer.
Yeah, Babe Ruth.
Babe Ruth. Many fewer games. Granderson tries to bunt. Fouls it off.
John Buck is trying to claim that Granderson was out of the batter's box when the ball hit him. If that's the case, he would be out, but the umpires don't see it that way.
Let's see how we see it.
Here's the ball. There's the bunt. Granderson still in the box. The ball hits him. He is firmly in the batter's box.
High pop-up. Hill and Overbay. And Hill makes the play. That's some play by Aaron Hill.
You can see Overbay didn't have the right angle. Now he's trying to regain the angle at Hill. Both of them fighting the sun. And it's Hill who makes the catch. He had the better angle and just reaches out and hauls it in. Looked like Overbay was struggling on that one right from the beginning. It was going to be Hill's play.
Here is Cervelli, who singled in the second, breaking 0 for 13 slide. There's a strike. Count 1-1. Cecil has retired 4 in a row since loading the bases with nobody out in the third. And from 0 for 13, he's 2 for 2.
Now the first one was a solid line drive to left field. This one he got jammed somewhat. Didn't he? It sounded like he hit this one with the rolled up newspaper, but he still got the base hit, fights it off, and drops it into center field. Soft spot in the zone for the base hit. And he always hustling Cervelli with a big turn at first.
That is just the second multi-hit game for Cervelli since May 24th. Pitch to Gardner. Low. High fly ball center field. Vernon Wells puts it away for the second out. Look at that. Sloppy. Looks like somebody poured candle wax on it.
Where's the napkin? Oh, the napkin is protecting her other hand.
See, now you got to make a call there. Do you use the napkin to wipe the hand, or do you lick the hand? Because I go with the lick the hand.
Me too.
You got to lick the hand, right?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
The problem was only one napkin. You needed a couple of them.
Great day for ice cream. That one gets away from Buck, and that allows Cervelli to go to second.
It should be a wild pitch, and I don't know if Buck got any glove on this one. Yeah, maybe the heel of the glove. And Cervelli set sail for second base. Ball still too high. Buck can't pick it up.
Only one other game going on in the big leagues. It's the Reds at the Cubs, just underway at Wrigley. Chop to second. Hill is right there. And that'll do it. No runs a hit. 1 man left on base. We played 4. Yankees lead 1-0. Ice cream day, but that's sloppy. Very sloppy. And on the post game as well, Independence Day weekend. 4th of July is Sunday, and it kind of starts the weekend, rolls through Monday as well. And as I said earlier, we have beautiful weather. We also have some ice cream here in the booth that the good people at Turkey Hill sent us. Kenny's already dug into his.
You just said it was a good day for ice cream.
Now, Kenny's, I believe, is the
Bronx Bombers Sunday.
Now, I have the Pinstripe Brownie Blast.
Good hunk of it right here.
Good. Let me get some on my hand. I want to show that young lady how to now watch. It's on the hand.
Yeah.
And then you do this. That's what you do. That's how it's done.
All
right.
That's professional.
Yep.
We've had ice cream before.
That'll make YouTube. Fouled that. Anyway, the Bronx Bomber Sunday features chocolate ice cream with chocolate cookie swirl and chocolate-covered crunchies, and the Pinstripe Brownie Blast features vanilla ice cream with brownie batter swirl and brownie pieces. Now, to support all the Yankee fans out there, Turkey Hill is continuing the great sweepstakes for free tickets to Yankees home games during the 2010 season. As Hoff Power pops it up, there's one away. Fans can look for the entry sticker on specially marked packages of Bronx Bombers Sunday and Pinstripe Brownie Blast, and they can enter the code online at turkeyhill.com/Yankees. You enjoying the ice cream, Ken?
Good ice cream.
Very good.
Did we get to finish it?
Oh, wow. Fred Lewis bunch foul.
Fred Lewis had a great month of May. 15 doubles in May. And that led all of Major Leagues. As of right now, he's got 21. So 15 of his 21 doubles came in 1 month.
Count 1-1. The 1-2 upstairs. Fred Lewis was hitting .310 on June 2nd. He's hitting only .232 over his last 24 games. Seems like everybody on the Toronto team is coming back down to earth. The 2-2.
Ooh.
Hit him. So he will take first base, and that's nothing new with AJ. Wild pitches and hit by pitches. His pitches move so much, and he certainly doesn't have pinpoint control.
Now watch the reaction of Fred Lewis here. This breaking ball. He can't get out of it forward or backwards. Almost screwed himself into the ground.
That would not have felt good.
It looked like one of those old cowboy movies. You ever see?
Where they get shot and go down on stages?
Oh, yeah.
That's the 10th batter hit by AJ this year. And that leads the American League. Somewhat dubious category. Yankees have to be buoyed by the fact that AJ has given them 4 shutout innings to this point, and really it's baby steps. He had been so bad for an entire month that 4 shutout innings, something to hang your hat on, and that builds his confidence as well. And he's admitted to many his problems are from the neck up. So if he can feel better about himself. There's a line drive to Jeter, and they're going to double off Lewis. What was Lewis doing? That's inexcusable. The ball's in front of him. Plenty of time to get back. That's just really bad base running, and Cito Gaston has to be chapped about that. Derek Jeter can't even believe he has a chance at the double play. 4.5. We're halfway through. 1-0 Yanks. One 1-0 Yankees on a sun-splashed, beautiful Friday afternoon here in the Bronx. Each team with 3 hits. Kenny, what could Fred Lewis have been thinking being doubled off on that ball?
I don't know if he saw it clearly and maybe thought it was going to bounce before it got to Jeter, but easy double play. No excuse. You know, one thing, it's line drive to the first baseman, you're out. Okay, line drive back to the pitcher, you're out. Even sometimes second baseman, you're out. But on the left side of the infield, shortstop or third base, you should not be doubled off at first.
I think that's why Gonzalez reacted as angrily as he did. He was upset that he hit a line drive that was caught and probably couldn't understand how it was a double play. The 0-2, strike three, and Swisher knew it. All right, it's time for another look at today's Toyota Text Ball. Once again, the question was, what is your favorite cookout food? You've been texting us at 58772. I'm betting on hamburger.
Yeah, I'm going burger too.
Wow, ribs in an upset. Amazing.
Look at hot dogs, man. Chicken way down the list.
That is foul.
You know what it is? You get chicken so many other days. Maybe that's why chicken doesn't come up big.
I guess. I mean, that's a bad showing by chicken.
You know, there's so many recipes for chicken besides grilling it.
Right.
You can get chicken all. How many ways can you eat ribs?
Not many.
All right, so maybe that's why it comes to the forefront on the 4th of July.
But it's very sloppy in a barbecue eating ribs.
You think ice cream can be sloppy like that lady?
Right.
Tell me about ribs.
But burger has that ready-made handle. It's called like a bun.
Uh-huh.
All right, there it is.
There's chicken.
Last place chicken. (3-1), and Teixeira works a walk. So Cecil really loses the plate sometimes, and for him that is his 5th walk.
5 strikeouts, going 5 walks. Teixeira, despite the fact that his average is low, he's been drawing his walks this year. He's among the league leaders in drawing base on balls. By the way, Cecil's out there today. This is his birthday. He's 24 years old today.
So here's A-Rod. He struck out with the bases loaded, nobody out in the 3rd inning. Now, we've told you A-Rod's home run yesterday. He has 4 home runs in his last 8 games, but he is not, I repeat, not homered in back-to-back games all year. But the RBIs are there. He's amongst the league leaders, but just 12 home runs. He's driven in the Yankees' only run today with the sac fly in the 1st inning.
A little visitation there, up and in.
They're the RBI leaders in the American League.
Vlad Guerrero, just recent series against the Angels, he punished his former team. He just went off on them. In Anaheim, the boot.
Grounded softly to short. There's one. No return. So a 6-4 force.
During this whole at bat, Cecil tried to keep the ball in on Alex, and he did so. Got the slow roll of the short. Only able to get the force on Teixeira.
No, 0 for 2. Cecil 5 walks today. It's a season high. His previous high was 3. Count 0-2. And the 0-2. Driven out to center field. Wells is there, and he's going to put it away for the final out of the 5th. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 man left. We've played 5. It's a tight one. Yankees 1 and the Blue Jays nothing. Against Toronto here in the Bronx. Complete coverage starts at noon with batting practice today presented by Audi in the Tri-State Ford pregame. Then Ken and I are back again with the call. Blue Jays Yankees tomorrow at noon only on Yes. Look at the guy with the Red Sox cap there. Did you see that? Living in harmony, enjoying the game. That's harmony right there. Just chilling. Very zen. Phil Jackson would be proud. Here's Jose Bautista against A.J. Burnett.
It's coming back, Phil Jackson, huh?
Yeah, so does Doc Rivers.
Yeah, they can't get enough.
Hard to give up.
Now A.J. jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Let's see how he wants to work Bautista. Now, during his career, Bautista's been known to strike out quite a bit. Struck out 65 times in 271 at-bats. Couldn't get him to bite. Not close enough to the strike zone.
That's the 80th pitch for Burnett. And the last 2 innings have kind of saved his pitch count. He was at 57 through 3 innings. But he had just 19 total over the last 2 innings, where he faced a minimum 6 batters. And the 2-2. Foul back. Right under our booth.
I don't think we've ever had a foul ball back into the booth, have we?
No.
Not yet. There's the Bautista wondering where it went. Steady diet of breaking balls, and that's been kind of going around the league because Bautista jumped out with 20 home runs right quick. Now they're going to try and make him hit something with a wrinkle in it. Just make a decent pitch. Don't hang it.
Count 3-2. Burnett has had success this year on 5 days rest. 3-2, 3.47. And he ends up walking Bautista to start the 6th. How about this breakdown, Kenny? I found this interesting. When he wins games, it's about as good as you could be. And when he loses games, he's about as bad as you could be. He's like the little girl with the curl, either very, very good or very, very bad. He's 6-7. In 6 wins, his ERA is 0.64. In 7 losses, 11.38.
So there's no middle ground.
No middle ground. That one gets past Cervelli, and that allows Bautista to move to 2nd.
Those middle ground games that you're talking about, those are the ones where your teammates usually can win them for you, and the bullpen can win it for you. If you leave with a lead or a couple-run lead, Cervelli cannot react quickly enough as this ball is on by him back to the backstop, and Bautista can trot down to 2nd on a wild pitch.
Grounded foul. Tying runs at 2nd, nobody out. Cleanup hitter at the plate, Vernon Wells. I'll tell you one thing, Wegner has given him that strike all day long.
Yeah, he's worked over both Wells and Bautista with that low and away fastball. In fact, last time you got Wells to swing at a pitch that was off the plate, ground out to Teixeira.
Swing and a miss, he got him. Got him on a breaking ball or a speed pitch.
Let's see what the pitch is. I don't know if it was might have been changeup or an off-speed breaking ball. Let's see. Yep, off-speed breaking ball. He took something off of it, which kind of works as a changeup. Only 84 miles an hour. Big strikeout. The runner at 2nd does not advance.
Strike. A.J. Burnett has 77 strikeouts this year. 40 of them have come with men on base. 31 of them without. So Vernon Wells was strikeout victim number 46 with a man on base. I don't believe that we have mentioned that the Yankees made a roster move before the game. They called up Dustin Mosley. You might remember a pitch for the Angels. He's been in the Yankee minor league system, and they sent down Boone Logan. And Mosley's going to pretty much be the Yankees' long man out of the bullpen. The 1-2. Now, Boone Logan probably is thinking, well, what do I have to do? He did pitch very well since coming back up, but sometimes it's a clerical move. Now, you could have sent Chad Godin out, but you would have lost him because he doesn't have to go down to the minor leagues. He's a veteran. And Boone Logan still has options. So this way they keep Godin. They keep Mosley, who could have opted out after July 1st if the Yankees didn't call him up. And they still have Logan under their control. So it's kind of a bookkeeping move as much more so than maybe a baseball move in this sense. The 1-2. And I also think that the strong nature of the way Damaso Marte has pitched the plate, the Yankees feel better that they can only go with one lefty for a while.
But you get the feeling that Logan's going to be back.
Yes. Yeah. He threw very well. He was throwing 94, 95 miles an hour and throwing strikes and much more aggressive than his first time up. Two. Strike three. Wegner, I think Kenny has about a 19-inch plate for both pitchers today.
Well, first of all, this last pitch was well set up, and we get a look at it. Did it hit the corner? Here's the overhead. This is the definitive angle. Maybe just a hair outside, but you're right, Michael. He's been consistent, and if you're a hitter, you're just looking for consistency. You're also looking for the ball to be over the plate. But the fact is that all day long, Wegner's been giving that pitch to both Burnett and Cecil.
No fouls it back.
Yeah, I mentioned that pitch was well set up because the previous pitch was a breaking ball down and in. So you get the hitter thinking inside, is that where he's trying to get me out? And then all of a sudden you pound one over the outside corner or just off it for call strike three.
Neither team has come up big in clutch spots today. 0 for 6 Blue Jays, 0 for 6 Yanks. Each team has had opportunities, but it's 1-0 Yankees here in the top of the 6th inning. Each team with just 3 hits, so Burnett and Cecil have done a good job. The 1-1. High fly ball, left field. Drifting back Gardner will make the play in front of the track for the final out of the 6th. Alan James Burnett, 6 shutout innings. 1-0 Yankees as we go to the bottom of the 6th. Saturday, July 10th and Sunday, July 11th. It's history in the making as Yes presents the first ever broadcast of baseball in 3D. Yankees take on the Mariners live in Seattle, and Yes will bring you the game as you've never seen it before. Presented by Panasonic and DirecTV. 3D coverage starts Saturday, July 10th at 10. So call your cable or satellite provider for details on their 3D offering. Kenny's going to be doing that game with legendary Seattle broadcaster Dave Niehaus, the 3D broadcast.
That should be very interesting. I'm looking forward to that.
I think Dave Sims is going to be involved as well. I'm not sure. But
yeah, we're doing 2 of the games. So
okay.
I think Niehaus is going to do one and Sims is going to do the other.
And you have a special 3D voice. Do you talk differently on 3D?
Well, it's a little more resonant.
Yes. That should be fun. Ground ball up the middle through for a base hit. Now single for Posada. As the Yankees try to build on this 1-0 lead.
You know, Michael, I was thinking about the 3D games. And somebody did the first game on TV. Mm-hmm. Somebody did the first game in color. Somebody did the first game in HD. So now, I'm the person who gets to do the first game in 3D.
Very cool.
Yeah, that is cool.
Number 14.
When they write the history of television.
3D?
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm angling, by the way, for the first Smell-O-Vision game.
You know what? I've thought about that myself.
Why not?
You get the real feel of the ballpark.
Yeah, smell of the hot dogs and the popcorn and
mustard.
The,
yes. Yeah, just everything. Well, you don't like mustard.
No. Or cologne. Whatever we're wearing.
He's not pitching anymore. Well, defense been part of this game, and Curtis Granderson, a wonderful catch in center field. He got turned around the wrong way, righted himself, and gets the admiration of his pitcher, A.J. Burnett.
2-0. And we've seen this with Cecil all day, where he just finds the wrong arm slot.
Yeah, but the problem for him now is that he might be getting a little tired. Getting to the latter stages of the game. He starts to fall behind many hitters here. I think Cito Gaston is starting to get the bullpen going. Because the lineup, get down near the bottom, but then the lineup's going to turn over for Jeter.
Now Cervelli is a candidate to bunt. Sacrifice the runners up.
He's a good bunter. But he's also 2 for 2. Yep, there's the call to the bullpen. Pitching coach Bruce Walton making the call. And things are beginning to stir around.
Now Cervelli obviously wants to bunt toward third. But they might have the wheel play because Posada's not very fast. And then Gonzalez would have to beat Posada to third. They do not have the wheel play, and there's no bunt on.
Well, sometimes the manager's thinking is that the other team's looking for the bunt so much, the pitcher just lays one in there, and you can do some damage with a hit. More damage with a hit than you could with a bunt. Now let's see if they go back to the bunt. Cervelli had a good look at Robbie Thompson. I don't know. Posada's checking the outfielders, so that tells me the bunt might not be on. Yep. It was not. After Cervelli looked down as we take this pitch, getting out of the way, not taking any chances. I don't think it was really that close. Up and in just off the left shoulder, gets out of the way. Posada was looking at Robbie Thompson as well to see if the bunt was on. But then once the signs were completed, Posada started checking the outfielders. So that told me the bunt was not on.
Grounded to third. There's one. And there's two. So they don't bunt, and it backfires. So two quickly away.
Looks like he got jammed somewhat. And the third baseman, off power. his momentum carry him to second, make a quick throw there, and then Aaron Hill turns it over for the double play.
The Yankees, get this, Kenny, are now 0 for their last 18 with runners in scoring position. There's Gardner with a runner in scoring position. Count 1-0.
And maybe Joe Girardi let Cervelli hit because he's been one of the better Yankees during the course of the year with runners in scoring position.
Sean Kemp and David Percy. 92 pitches so far for Brett Cecil. There's a strike.
Now you can bet that Cecil wants to get Gardner. He's working left on lefty here, and he's got Jeter on deck. He's already been on base twice. He's had trouble retiring it. Well, this is a man he'd like to see for the final out of the inning if he can get him.
Broken bat pop up, and Overbay makes the play for the final out of the inning. So first and second, nobody out. The Yankees don't get it done. No runs a hit, and one man left on base. Let's go to the seventh. Brought to you by Fios TV, Internet, and Phone. This is Beyond Cable. This is Fios. Nice matchup of lefties. Ricky Romero, 6-4, 2.83, and Andy Pettit, 9-2, 2.72. Our coverage begins at noon right here on Yes with the batting practice show. 12:30 is our pregame, and at 1:08 will be first pitch. Verizon Wireless scoreboard, not much to say other than 1-0 Yanks. A.J. Burnett deals a strike to Lyle Overbay.
Yeah, both pitchers been able to get out of trouble from time to time during the course of the game. And the Yankees scoring a lone run way back in the first inning without a hit.
That's how the pitches by inning break down. That all adds up to 99. Cano makes the play. One away.
Yeah, he made that look easy, but it was not an easy play. The ball was hit on the nose by Overbay. He might have had a little overspin. But Cano stayed with it. And calmly makes the play. Look at him right top of the screen here. A rocket his direction. Got the hip high hop and made the play.
There's John Buck. Burnett is looking to complete 7 innings for the first time since May 30th. Buck with a check swing single that squeezed through the right side in the second inning, then had a fly ball to right in fourth.
Coincidentally, that's May 30th is the last time that AJ won a game. Beat Cleveland.
This performance has to mean the world to him, because June could not have been worse. It could not have been worse. It was that bad. Everything went wrong. He looked lost on the mound. A crisis of confidence as well. And here he has come back and thrown zeros up there.
He's been able to make the big pitches when he's had to. Get out of the jams. Blue Jays have stranded 6 runners.
David Robertson and Tommaso Marte, who bobbled the ball, getting ready in the Yankee pen. A 1-2. Grounded to third. Alex Rodriguez gets a nice hop. 2 down.
Michael, I think with AJ now at 105 pitches, this might be his last inning as you look at the previous 3 starts. 10 in the third innings, 19 runs today. Michael called it a big turnaround. 6 2/3 and no runs. Dave Island back on the job.
Off power. Swings at the first pitch and grounds it through for a base hit. So a 2-out single by the number 9 hitter, and that's going to do it for AJ as Joe Girardi bounds out of the dugout and is going to signal to the bullpen. And AJ's going to get a nice hand, and he's going to appreciate this hand because he has not had much to cheer about for about a month. Almost stumbled off the mound there, and now listen to the crowd. TNT, rethink possible. So 6 2/3 innings for A.J. Burnett, and runner at first base is his responsibility. And with the lefty Fred Lewis due up, the Yankees go to the left-hander, Damaso Marte. And those are the numbers on Marte. 4.70. Lewis 0 for 1 with a walk, a stolen base, and he was also hit by a pitch. And there's the start. And A.J. got a real warm greeting from his teammates in the dugout. Yankees need him to be A.J. Burnett. Pitch is high, 1-1.
I'm sure that's the best feeling that AJ's had in quite a while, that things may be going back on track, working in the right direction once again, something positive to build on for his next start, which will come on the road.
That one is boxed there by Cervelli, and moving to second is Hoffpower. That's a big, big play. Let's see what they call this. It's got to be a pass ball.
It's almost as if he were looking for something else, but knocked it down. It's going to be a pass ball. I mean, it's certainly a catchable ball. See the way his glove got up in front of his mask? Maybe just blocked his vision.
Pass ball yesterday was costly for the Yankees. Moving runners up to second and third in the top of the 8th inning. And then Branyan with the single drove in 2 rather than 1. And actually set the stage for A-Rod's bottom of the 8th inning heroics. Yesterday it was Posada with Cece on the mound. And today it's Cervelli with Marte on the mound. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner at second. Yankees lead by 1, top of the 7th. And now the count is full at 3-2. This could be the only batter for Marte. Gonzalez on deck. Robertson is ready.
You got 3 straight right-handed hitters after Lewis.
Well, the worst AJ could do today is no decision. He's eligible for the win. The runner at second, his responsibility. Popped up. Jeter fights the sun and puts it away for the final out of the 7th inning. No runs a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. 6 2/3 innings of shutout ball for Burnett. At the end of 6.5, it's time for the 7th inning stretch. The Yankees lead 1-0, but we will stay right here. And on a very special weekend in this country's history, we honor America here in the Bronx.
As we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the globe. Thank you. Now Kate Smith's rendition of God Bless America. Ladies and gentlemen, we invite you to join in
here in the Bronx. Yankees lead 1-0. A.J. Burnett goes 6 2/3. And Brett Cecil goes 6. Now they turn to Sean Kemp, who has good numbers. And he will face Derek Jeter. So it'll be the top of the Yankee order. Blue Jays have to feel better about Cecil. He'd been roughed up in his last 3 starts to a 9 ERA, 9.19. Holds the Yankees to just 1 first-inning run on a sac fly by Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, he, like A.J. Burnett, able to make good pitches when he had to. The 5 base on balls might be a worry, but he only gave up 4 hits.
Jeter grounds it to second. 1 away. Now you also saw the Verizon Wireless scoreboard: 1-4-0 Yankees, 0-4-0 Blue Jays. Well, here's Nick Swisher. Swisher 0 for 1 with 2 walks. Had a stolen base. Shows bunt, takes a pitch outside, 1-0.
Look where Hoffpower is. He could have walked to first base if he got a good bunt down. Got it past the mound. Hoffpower is like he's playing shortstop as a third baseman.
And he really didn't move, so if Swisher can get the bunt down the third baseline, it's a sure base hit.
They're saying go ahead.
He'll take it that way.
The conventional base hit.
Scott Downs, one of 3 lefties in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Percy, Downs, and Talent, and they have 4 righties: Jansen, Frazier, Camp, and Gray.
Well, you've seen Camp in several places in the American League: Kansas City, Tampa Bay for a couple of seasons.
Hot shot right at Overbay, double play. So hit it as hard as he could, but right at Overbay.
Wow.
With the unassisted double play. Nick Swisher had no chance. Blue Jays have a chance. They're down by 1 as we head to the 8th. Yankee Stadium takes center stage on Monday, July 19th, for the first annual Bombers Boomer Broadway Softball Classic, and helps support the Boomer Esiason Foundation and Broadway Cares. Game 1 of the doubleheader features the stars of Broadway squaring off at 11:30, followed by Yankees alumni and celebrities versus the WFAN All-Stars in Game 2. All tickets are just $10. Call Ticketmaster at 877-469-9849 or visit Yankees.com for tickets. Here's Jabba Chamberlain as the Yankees go to him in the 8th inning. So Marte comes on to get the 1 out, popping up Fred Lewis. And now Jabba will face Gonzalez, Bautista, and Wells. 37 strikeouts and 32 1/3. He has not pitched, Jabba, since June 27th, which was Sunday night.
The last time I saw Jabba pitch was in Arizona. He was throwing fire out in the desert, adding to the heat that was already there. Did he hit 98 that night, Mike?
He hit 98, and I actually spoke to him that night, and I said, "Did you like the mound out here?" And he said to me, he said, "Mike, I'm just getting comfy." So I guess he's loosening up for the first 2 months and now letting it go.
Is that the way he said it?
Yep, yeah. I'm just getting comfy. Popped up, right side, long run for everybody, but it makes the seats. Now let me recap the scoring for you. Jeter walked in the first. Nick Swisher walked. Then a soft ground ball by Teixeira to first base moved both runners up. Now second and third, 1 out. They decide to pitch to Alex Rodriguez with Cano on deck. Alex swings at the first pitch, a changeup, and hits a fly ball to center field. Jeter tags and scores on the sac fly, and that's it. That's the only run in the game, the 0-2.
I was thinking when you said you're going to recap, it wasn't going to take that long. 97 miles an hour. He's getting comfy.
She's getting comfy.
Yeah. You know, going back to spring training and talking to Dave Island about Jabba, and everybody's always worried about the radar gun. How come he was only throwing 92 or 91? And Dave said it's a matter of mechanics. When Jabba starts to really getting his arm slot and really getting his weight shift, standing up over the rubber, that's when you see the 96, 97s, and 98. So maybe he's been locked in his first couple of his last few times.
Long look and too long for Gonzalez, who steps out. Tonight, Baltimore at Boston and Tampa Bay at Minnesota, as the Yankees will keep a close eye on their closest pursuers. 3-2. Pulls an outside pitch and grounds it back.
Yeah, went to the slider. 3-2 on Gonzalez.
That one's driven deep to left field, giving Chase Gardner. He's on the track. He leaps at the wall, and he makes the play. He took an extra base hit away from Gonzalez.
Oh, this ball left the bat. I thought it had a chance of getting out of here, but Brett Gardner had other ideas. up against the wall, perfectly timed leap, and hauls it in. I don't know if it would have gotten out. Maybe not, but it certainly would have been an extra base hit. But Brett Gardner showing some hops. And all Gonzalez is going to get is his feelings hurt. Great play by Brett Gardner in left field.
Jabba signals for the touchdown.
Wow, what a play.
And that'll bring up Bautista, who runs up the bunt, takes a breaking ball for a strike.
Undoubtedly the play of the game.
So one very long, dramatic out here in the 8th.
You wouldn't think of it at Gonzalez, but he has more home runs than any other shortstop in the major leagues with 14. And he also has the most ever by a Blue Jays shortstop before the All-Star break. So he's had that type of year swinging the lumber. He's primarily known as a glove man.
Alex Rodriguez playing no doubles defense. Check swing there by Bautista. Alex is very deep at third and very close to the line.
Well, did he swing? Oh, man, I thought he did.
(3-1), and Jabba walks him on the slider. Third time Bautista has reached base. Let's look at the Blue Jays in-game box score, brought to you by McDonald's. Just 4 hits for the Blue Jays. 3 walks, 1 by Lewis. He was also hit by a pitch. Gonzalez a walk. Bautista 1 for 2 with 2 walks now. And then a hit by Overbay, Buck, and Hoffpower. No extra base hits for the Blue Jays. And there's a starter, Brett Cecil, looking to be bailed out. Right now he's a pitcher of record on the losing side. Wells takes a pitch high. And Dave Island wants to talk with Java. All-Star voting isn't over quite yet. Now, from July 4th to July 8th, you can vote for the final 34th player for each league roster. You can check in on Yankees.com on Sunday, July 4th, to see who made the team and who should get the 34th and final spot on each league roster.
It's a nice way of getting the fans involved. I think I heard that, wasn't it Shane Victorino who made it the All-Star team in the National League one year that way, and he went from door to door in Philadelphia?
Got to politic to win elections.
Exactly.
Shake hands, kiss babies. I would be shameless. It would be unbelievable. I'd fly planes over beaches, the whole thing.
I don't think it was a mistake that Dave Island went to the mound to talk to Java with probably the most dangerous hitter in the Blue Jays lineup at the plate. That's Vernon Wells. They've held him in check so far today with a couple of strikeouts and a ground out, but he's having a good year, and he's been over the years, the last few years or so, a very productive hitter when healthy.
2 strikeouts today, ground ball to first. 1-1 count on Wells. Bautista is at first base, and Jabba trying to keep it close. High drive, right field. Swisher has room. He makes a play in front of the warning track for the second out. Two away, that's going to bring up Adam Lynn. Pitch is high. 7 for 12, Lind against Java Chamberlain. 1 of the 7 a home run. But that's a different Lind. But not really, as he grounds a single up the middle. Bautista will go to third, and Lind now 8 for 13 against Java.
Just certain pitchers throw your speed, and you pick the ball well, pick it up well, and they don't seem to have anything to fool you.
Each team 0 for 8 with runners in scoring position today. And a little meeting on the mound between Cervelli and Chamberlain. Here's Aaron Hill. He is 0 for 3. Fastball away and the count 1-0. With runners in scoring position against Java this year, the opposition is hitting .325, 13 for 40.
Yeah, so the whole key for him is just to have clean innings. For some reason, it just...
Ground ball and a tie game. Aaron Hill with an RBI single. Scoring is Bautista. Lynn moves to second, and Hill with the RBI single makes it 1-1.
Oh, he told you that Aaron Hill was having his problems this year, hitting just .189. Very productive year last year, but this was a hanging breaker ball. This was right here for the taking. Up, belt high, out over the plate. He drills it right by Alex Rodriguez to tie the ball game. As Bautista scores the tying run, and Bautista had reached on a walk. Pinch runner at second is going to be Dwayne Wise, running for Adam Lynn.
Now here is Overbay, a big at bat in this game. Unfortunately for A.J. Burnett, he cannot get the win now, and Brett Cecil can't get the loss. So this game is going to be decided by the bullpens. And the breaking ball, backdoor strike, and Overbay has an 0-1 count against him. Soft ground ball to Jeter. He's going to flip to Cano, and that'll do it. But not before Java gives up the tying run. 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 men left. We go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 1-1 game as the Bluebirds shower their reaction down on Java. brought to you in part by J&R Music and Computer World and by Ford, the official truck of the New York Yankees. Well, the Mariners tied the game in the top of the 8th inning yesterday. The Blue Jays have done it today. Alex answered with a home run yesterday. He leads off today. And the pitch is outside. 1-0. I think Alex is very well aware it's the 8th inning today. Probably checked the scoreboard. Count 1-1. Now, Joe Girardi actually spun the fact that Alex didn't know what inning it was into a positive today. Said, shows he was locked into the at-bat. He said, I'd be worried if he forgot that, there was one out and he thought it was 2 and ran around the bases. So I'm sure Alex would love another 8th inning walk-off right here.
Well, he's ahead on the count. He's leading off an inning. Camp does not want to walk him to get the ball rolling. We saw a walk lead to a run for the Blue Jays in the top half of the inning.
Driven into center field deep, but Wells is there, and he puts it away for the first out. Let's check out the Yankees in-game box score brought to you by McDonald's. Yankees have 5 hits. They've actually been out-hit by the Blue Jays. And that's how it breaks down. Jeter, Swisher, and 2 by Cervelli, 1 by Posada. And for the Yankees, no extra base hits. Well, Cito Gaston is going to bring in a left-hander to face Robinson Cano. He takes the ball from Camp, who faced the minimum 4 batters over an inning and a third. So he departs, and Cano will be up next with 1 out, nobody on. Stay right where you are. Along with us for the Chevy Player of the Game. All you have to do is text your vote to 58772. You can vote online at yesnetwork.com. Today's candidates are number 1, A.J. Burnett, number 2, Brett Cecil, number 3, Aaron Hill, and number 4, Alex Rodriguez. Vote now, make your voice heard. Standard text messaging rates apply. I don't know if we have the Player of the Game yet, Kenny.
No, I would think that it might go down to one swing of the bat.
Scott Downs will take his chances against Robinson Cano. As I mentioned, one of 3 left-handers in the bullpen for the Jays. Cano shows bunt, takes a pitch outside. They shift for Cano, and I don't know if that makes that much sense. The third baseman is about 30 feet off the line, and Cano hits balls over third base all the time.
And I think more apt to do so against the left-hander.
Not this time. Ground ball right to Hill. 2 outs.
Scott Downs has done a good job out of the Jays pen this year. You can see his record 2-5, 3.03 ERA, and 26 strikeouts in 32 2/3 innings. His last 8 appearances have been scoreless.
tie games at home, the closer comes in the 9th inning. As there's no save situation if you're tied after 8. Here's Posada, 4 for 18 lifetime against Downs, and he takes a pitch low. The scoring, a sac fly by A-Rod in the 1st, ground ball RBI single left field by Aaron Hill in the 8th. That's where we are. Game in the hands of the bullpen. Brett Cecil and A.J. Burnett both pitch well in starting roles. A.J. went 6 2/3 innings, and Cecil went 6. Lined right on one hop to Overbay. Nice play by the first baseman, and that will do it. As the Blue Jay bullpen works a 1-2-3 inning. This game's going to the 9th inning. It's going tied. The final out of this game against the Blue Jays gets the WB Mason postgame as Bob Lorenz and Kimberly Jones break down this first game against Toronto. You also get the clubhouse reaction from Joe Girardi and the team. That's all coming up on the WB Mason postgame, and it's only on Yes. Well, if there's going to be a Yankee win today, Kenny, it's going to be a pie win.
Oh, walk it up.
Yeah. Mariano Rivera will try to keep the Blue Jays down here in the top of the 9th. He's had a good year so far. This is his 31st game, 0.89 ERA, 18 saves. This, of course, not a save situation. A strikeout per inning and 6 walks, 12 hits, so 18 base runners in 30 1/3 innings. So Java struggled in his 8th inning of work. He gave up the tying run. Now it'll be 8-9-1 against Rivera. John Buck starts it off. In Mariano's last 15 games, 17 innings pitched, 4 hits, no runs, 3 walks, 19 strikeouts. And that foul ball got a piece of Cervelli, so Wegner dusting up the plate to give him some time to get the cobwebs out.
Just say 4 hits in 17 innings?
Yep.
Here's it, Cutter.
He's doing that a lot lately. He's really coming in on the hands of the right-handed batters, not keeping them away all the time with the cutter.
Well, it kind of keeps them honest, and what it does, it speeds up their bat, and then all of a sudden he'll go away with the cutter, and it's hard for them to reach. Yeah, back inside.
1-2. Grounded to third, backing up. Alex Rodriguez, the long throw, 1 out. Kevin Gregg warming for the Blue Jays.
They use their closer.
Crowd of 45,792 here on a Friday afternoon, a rare Friday afternoon game at the stadium.
Do you remember the last time there was a...
I think it was the first week of the season. Could it have been opening day? That was Thursday?
Opening day's a Monday.
This year?
Yankees opened in Boston this year. Oh,
Sunday night.
Sunday night, yeah. And an off day Monday,
and then they went to Tampa Bay. I remember a Friday afternoon game earlier. But I had been wrong many, many times, Kenny, so I wouldn't go to the bank with it.
Yeah, you know what? Just as long as you learn from your mistakes.
I'm told there has not been a Friday afternoon game this year. Probably sometime last year. So the count 1-2 on Jared Hoffpower. He is 1 for 3. Baba.
Hoffpower's first ever look at Mariano Rivera.
I would think that a young guy facing Rivera, obviously you're competitive, you want to do well. There's got to be a modicum of awe involved. When you're growing up, this guy's been doing this since 1995. You've seen him, you probably watched him in World Series games, and here you are, you're getting to see Mariano Rivera. And you're striking, foul tipped it to stay alive.
You know, there's probably some veterans that fall into that category, too.
Line drive. So his first meeting with Rivera, he picks up a hit. Second hit for Hoffpower.
Blue Jays called Hoffpower up and sent Edwin Encarnacion back to AAA Las Vegas. And there's a line drive over second for the base hit. Encarnacion, I bet you he's hoping what happens in Vegas doesn't stay in Vegas.
Here's Fred Lewis. 0 for 2. A walk and a hit by pitch.
In Arizona, we noticed that Mo had picked up the pace with the cutter. Had a few 94s and 95s registered.
Mariano's command a bit off. There's a strike. If you look at what the Yankees did in June, 16-10, but hitting .245. And what they did against the Mariners, the offense not clicking just yet. So 1 run so far over 8 innings, and they've allowed 1 run. The Yankee pitching has the 2-1. And the count 3-1. The 3-1 pitch. Grounded to short. Let's see if they can turn 2. There's 1. On to first. Not in time.
Well, the fans are hoping for the inning-ending double play, but Fred Lewis runs pretty well. The ball wasn't hit all that hard, so it's make it difficult to turn 2. Jeter to Cano, and Cano steps back this time to avoid the runner. The throw to first. You can see that Lewis had the foot down and just beats the relay.
Good call by the first base ump, Dan Iasonia. Now, if you're looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th inning, it'll be the bottom third of the Yankee order. Granderson, Cervelli, and Gardner. Here's Gonzalez, but first the throw over. Gonzalez flirted with an extra base hit, leading off the 8th inning against Java. But a great play by Brett Gardner up against the wall took away an extra base hit. Gonzalez 0 for 6 lifetime against Mariano Rivera. Count 1-0. The 1-0. Foul back. Gonzalez with the Red Sox last year kind of traded positions with Marco Scutaro, who was with the Blue Jays last year.
Look out. That's a foul ball.
He's saying it hit him. And Mark Wegner's saying, no, it didn't. Now, Cito Gasson will pick up the argument.
You know what? To me, it sounded like it hit the bat. I think that would have hurt a little more than just.
Boy, Cito looks really big compared to Wegner.
You know, Cito back in the day when he was a player, an outfielder with the San Diego Padres, he could hit him. Let's listen to this and see. You make the call at home. Did it hit the bat or hit his arm? Sounds like it hit the knob of the bat. Now we get a little better look here.
Got to be honest, we can't tell for sure.
No, we can't.
None of the angles were great where we could actually see.
It's just the sound. It just didn't sound like. It still doesn't look like it hit him in the arm. It sounded like it hit the bat to me. And now they're calling the umpires in for a conference. I think this is the best that Cito Gaston can hope for, is get a consensus call from the umpires as opposed to a call from one umpire. You know, and he's thinking, at least if this man is on base, the tying run moves into scoring position. I don't think they're going to change it, though.
Same foul ball.
Yeah. Foul ball.
And Cito really can't argue because he did check with the umps, and as Kenny said, that's about the best you could do.
You know, Gonzalez is not happy right now, but if he makes an out here, he's going to be even less happy.
1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, top of the 9th inning. Game is tied at 1. The runner goes. Swung on and missed. He chases a high fastball. And Gonzalez is not thrilled. No runs a hit. No errors and one man left on base. Is there pie on the menu? Yankees coming up in the bottom of the ninth. And Mariano Rivera strikes out Gonzalez. Presents the Joe Girardi Show. Here are Joe's thoughts on this week's series against the Mariners and Blue Jays. Plus, get a preview of next week's West Coast road trip. It's a new Joe Girardi Show, Sunday at 5, only on Yes. Well, last year, the first year of the new stadium, it was the home of the walk-off. They had 15 in the regular season, 2 in the postseason. This year, just 1 walk-off win, and that was Marcus Tim's home run against the Red Sox. And Granderson will lead off against Scott Downs. Pitch outside. So we're in the bottom of the 9th inning. It's a 1-1 game, beginning of a 3-game holiday weekend set. Grounded foul. Granderson, Cervelli, and Gardner. And the count 1-2. Off the end of the bat, a ground ball to Hoffpauir. And they just get the out at first base. I mean, just. As Granderson really hustling down the line.
Yeah, Hoffpauir got behind that ball quickly and really stepped into the throw. Now, the scouting report on Hoffpauir does not really have the power that a third baseman should have, but he is a fine defensive player. As we look at the play at first base, it's stretched by Overbay, and you can see that the foot has not touched the bag, and there's 1 out.
So they're going to keep in the lefty Downs to face the righty Cervelli because they want him in to face Gardner. So you take a chance right here, and the pitch is low, 1-0.
I'll tell you what, there's nobody warming up, so it kind of tells me that Cito Gaston has faith in Downs against everybody. Even it gets down to Jeter this inning. If a man gets on base, nobody could warm up that quickly to get into the ball game to face the Yankee captain.
And obviously they were warming up their closer Gray in the event that they would score in the top of the 9th inning. Now the Yankees getting action in their bullpen. Do they want to go with Mo for a second inning? They've done it 2 times last week. And Joe wants to stay away from that. David Robertson warming up. Go 2-0. 2-1. Not many runs being scored around Major League Baseball. One other game, top of the 7th inning, Wrigley, and the Reds lead the Cubs 1-0. This was 1-0 until the 8th, when the Blue Jays scored 1. And that's where we stand. Grounded to third. Hoffpauir, nice play. 2 outs.
A couple of nice plays by the Blue Jay third baseman. He's guarding the line. That ball almost snuck through the hole for Cervelli. Here's Hoffpauir coming off the line, this time to his left. Straightens and makes the throw to first for the second out. As I mentioned before, third base is usually one of your power positions, but Hoffpauir known primarily for his defensive ability. And he shows you a little bit in the last 2 plays.
Here's Gardner. Gardner's 0 for 3. Pitch outside. In a 3-game set in Toronto, Yankees lost 2 games. They had 7 runs, though, in 3 games. They struggled. Batting average of 174. Blue Jays have some pitchers. Count 2-0. Gardner just wants to get on. Then he can run. Try to score. Jeter punches a hit. So he's up in the count 2-0.
I think if there's been surprises with the Blue Jays this year and nobody picked them to do much, Jason Frazier, right-hander, begins to warm up. There's their home run power and their younger pitchers have come on.
Popped up left field. Fred Lewis will make the play, and the Yankees go down in order. Bonus Cantos, free baseball coming up. We go to the 10th. It's 1-1. Of Yankees on Deck, presented by Tops and Tax. Brett Gardner and Francisco Cervelli go remote control car racing and see how baseball gloves are made. It's all coming up today after the postgame. It's only on Yes. Well, we go to the 10th inning. It's a 1-1 game. The Yankees scored their run in the first on a sac fly by A-Rod, and the Blue Jays scored their run in the 8th inning on an RBI single by Aaron Hill through the left side of the infield. So on a beautiful Friday afternoon, as many people are starting their July 4th weekend, we have extra innings, and David Robertson has the baseball as they hold Mariano to just 1 inning. Those are Robertson's numbers: 28 strikeouts in 25 innings, 31 hits, 13 walks. And he's going to face the heart of the order, 3, 4, and 5. And that one is lined to center field. Granderson makes the play as Bautista is retired on 1 pitch. Now remember, Adam Lynn, the DH, was lifted for a pinch runner in the 8th inning, Dwayne Wise. So Wise is the on-deck hitter after Vernon Wells, not Lynn. Vernon Wells 0 for 4. He's 0 for his last 14. Jumping on the first pitch against Robertson, trying to sit on that fastball. The count 0-1.
Well, the Blue Jays are a very aggressive team, and they're looking for that first fastball and trying to hit homers. And beginning of the season, they were hitting homers at a record pace. But you had to have a feeling that the league would make an adjustment and that would slow down. And that's primarily what has happened, because the month of June, the Blue Jays, big-time home run hitting team and leading the majors in homer, were actually out-homered by their opponents.
The 0-2. Since May 8th, Robertson's been a different pitcher. Started off very, very shaky early. We told you he has an over 5 ERA, but it's coming down. He's pitched to a 1.53 ERA since May 8th. Chop towards second. Charging Cano gets a good hop, and there are now 2 outs. Here's Dwayne Wise. Dwayne Wise will always have a place in baseball history. He helped save a perfect game by Mark Burley by making one of the greatest catches you'll ever see in a big moment in a big game in the 9th inning of that game. But no longer with the White Sox. But on the wall in left center at U.S. Cellular, it says the catch. And everybody knows exactly what you're talking about. Oh, let's look at it.
Here it is. Mark Burley working on a perfect game. Gabe Kapler with a bid for a home run. And look at this catch. Tumbling catch. Holds onto the ball as he comes off the wall.
Last July, and Burley, that was the second out, I believe, of the inning. And then Burley got one more out for the perfect game. Usually you have one really outstanding play in a no-hitter or a perfect game, but it's usually earlier, and you look back and go, wow, that was great. But that was right there as the tension is at its highest, and what a big-time play by Dwayne Wise.
This is Wise's second go-round in the Blue Jays organization. He'd come up through their minor league system.
This year in the 9th inning, former Yankee farmhand Austin Jackson made a tremendous catch for Armando Galarraga in the perfect game that wasn't. 2-2. Missed outside 3-2. On deck is Aaron Hill, who's driven in the only run for the Blue Jays. And the pitch. Fouled away. It'll be a payoff. And he lost it. So Dwayne Wise works a walk with 2 outs here in the 10th. And that's going to bring up Hill. Hill fouled out to first, fouled out to the catcher, flied out to left, and then singled through the left side of the infield, scoring Bautista from third with the tying run. Dwayne Wise, of course, is a threat to run. Yankees are in their 5th extra inning game of the year. The Blue Jays the same number. Yankees are 3-1 in their previous 4. The Blue Jays are 2-2. Mark Teixeira thought he had it picked off. It was close, but Dan Iassogna's had a good day at first base, making all the right calls. Let's see if he got this one right.
Here's another look. Watch the glove hand drop down on Wise. Looked like he had his right hand on the bag. Just got back.
Wise has not been an everyday player, but he has 26 stolen bases in his career in just 32 attempts, so pretty good percentage, and the Yankees know that, watching. That's why he was a pinch runner in the 8th inning, because he got speed. There he goes. Swung on a miss. Throw to second. It goes into center field. Wise gets up, and he is going to scamper to third. So a stolen base and likely an error on Cervelli. And now the Blue Jays are 90 feet away from taking a lead.
Looks like Wise got a decent jump over at first base. That would have been a close play at second if the throw were on the money. You can see Cano get out of the way there. Swing and a miss for strike one. Here's the throw. Cano cannot dig it out of the dirt. And Wise will get up and move over to third. Ball takes a higher hop than Cano anticipates. The ball hops over his glove.
Foul back by Hill. Count 1 and 2. He got the runner in from third with 2 outs in the 8th. Now he's going to try to get the runner in from third with 2 outs in the 10th. The Blue Jays are 1 for 10 today with runners in scoring position, and Hill had that hit. Crowd of just under 46,000. They want an out. Foul back. One-two. Line to left. Gardner will make the play. So the Yankees survived the walk and the error. No runs, no hits, 1 error, 1 left. Another chance for the Yankees to end it in the bottom of the 10th. They are knotted at 1 as the Yankees will send the top of the order up to the plate against Jason Frazier, the new pitcher for the Blue Jays. It'll be the 4th pitcher. Brett Cecil went 6. Sean Camp went an inning and a third. Scott Downs went an inning and 2/3. And now this man, Frazier.
Frazier at one time was working as the closer in the Jays pen, but now working in a more conventional role out of the bullpen. He'll face the top of the order for the Yankees here in the 10th.
Derek 1 for 3. He walked and scored the Yankees' only run in the 1st, single to left, stole a base in the 3rd, grounded to 2nd in the 4th, and grounded to 2nd in the 7th. Derek is 3 for his last 14 and 4 for 20 lifetime against Frazier. Got the breaking ball in there for a strike, count 1-1. Derek with a spare bat right there on the on-deck circle, right near it.
like a fastball up in the zone, about bell tie, and Captain swings through it.
And the 1-2. 2-2. The 2-2. Grounded to third. Off power can play that position very smoothly. Throws out Jeter for the first out.
Yeah, with the third baseman and the first baseman guarding the line, it accentuates the holes. But this one, too close to Hoff Power as he goes a couple of steps to his left and makes a play for the out. And the defenders are willing to give up the single, but not the extra base hit.
That one is grounded foul. The 0-1 to Swisher. He could not hold up. And the count 0-2. Jerry Meals said, "You're right, he couldn't hold up." Swisher today, walk, stolen base, strikeout, and a single. So he's 1 for 2.
Yeah, the stolen base was a product of being on the back end of a double steal. And that appeared the Yankees were about to break open in the third. They had bases loaded and nobody out. Couldn't score. Ooh.
That one bounced up there.
What was that?
Down was Frazier. That's probably 49 feet.
Trying to get him to chase one out of the zone.
That is an artistic piece of work there. That's an angry Blue Jay. Angry. What a talent.
Blue Jays, I thought they were kind of docile.
Not on that helmet. Well, when the Blue Jays changed their uniform, they tried to make the Blue Jay angrier because they felt that the early Blue Jay uniform made the birds seem very docile and happy. The 2-2. Took something off, and Swisher swings and misses.
Let's see what this is. It looked like a off-speed slider. Off-speed breaking ball. Swisher out in front. We're going to take a look on Yesmo. Yep, definitely out in front. And that's the first strikeout for Jason Frazier. And there's that angrier bird.
Yeah, very angry.
It's hungry.
They're hungry for an out right here with Teixeira at the plate. Mark 0 for 2 with 2 walks. Count 1-0. If there's an 11, David Robertson will pitch it for the Yanks. Teixeira 0 for 6 lifetime against Frazier. Well, that off-speed pitch is really flummoxing the Yankees right now.
83 miles an hour with a break to it. Targets away, didn't hit the target, but he still got the results that he wanted. A swing and a miss. Yankees better get used to seeing the Blue Jays. After today, well, including today, 83 games left. They played the Blue Jays 15 times, including today's game.
There's a ground ball to second, knocked down there by Hill, and he will get to Sheriff for the final out as the Yankees go down in order. In fact, the last 10 Yankees have gone down in order. It looks like Teixeira might be hurt. He was not running that fast down the first base, and now flexing that right leg. We'll find out what happened. Go to the bottom of the 11th inning, or should I say the top of the 11th inning. The final out of the bottom of the 10th was Mark Teixeira's ground ball. Let's see what happened on this swing.
Kind of appears that he's off balance with the swing, and looks like his right foot gives way, and that's the one he's favoring on the way down to first base.
And here's the 11th inning now, bottom third of the order against David Robertson, the Yankees' fifth pitcher. And Overbay takes a pitch outside. A.J. Burnett started and went 6 2/3. Let's see.
You see the foot slip as he went to plant.
Yes, the front foot.
Yeah, it slipped, and then in some kind of pain as he runs down to first base, but he has stayed in the ballgame.
Hot shot and off the glove of Cano and into right field. So Overbay hit it hard, a play that Cano usually makes. We'll see how they score it. Probably give him a base hit.
You're right about the fact that we've seen Cano make this play. He made a tougher one earlier in the game against Overbay. But this time he does not come up with it. And they're going to give Overbay a base hit.
Base hit to left field off the bat of John Buck. So just like that, runners on first and second, nobody out here in the 11th. Now Robertson entering territory he's not that used to. It's his first second inning appearance since May 20th. And the base hit by Buck, the 9th hit by the Blue Jays. And let's see if they have half power bunt. He's 2 for 4 today.
He is, but I have a feeling they're going to have him try and lay one down here.
Channel Park begins to warm for the Yankees.
Yankees are looking for the bunt at the corners, both A-Rod and Teixeira up on the grass.
The bunt foul.
These are the things that the managers remember about young players. Can they get the job done when called upon? Cito Gaston asking his young third baseman, recently recalled from AAA, get the bunt down, put a couple of men in runners in scoring position.
You watch Brian Butterfield, the third base coach, go through the signs. It's such a long litany of signs, and that's how third base coaches roll now. I asked him who was the best at giving signs. He said the best was Clete Boyer. He said, and he did 3 signs. Boom, touch the chest, wrist, belt, whatever. He said, nobody ever stole the signs. He said, now we do 15, 20 of them. He said, you're always worried about getting signs stolen. And that's a beautiful bunt. There's one play they have to make it at first. So the sacrifice successful, 5-4.
And that'll get the approval of the manager when he gets back to the dugout. This is the way you want it done. You want the third baseman to field, so he has to vacate the third base bag. The runner can move in behind him. His overbay goes to third. Buck moves down to second. Let's see how the Yankees play it from here.
They will intentionally walk Fred Lewis here because they're going to set up the double play all around in the force. Now, when you walk the bases full, you have to be sure that the pitcher's going to throw strikes. So they feel certain of that. And there's ball 4. So Fred Lewis has been walked intentionally. Now Gonzalez is 2 of 9 at getting the run in from third with less than 2 outs. Mike Harkey tells them that the Channel Park is ready, but the damage can be done now. Gonzalez grounds it foul.
Started him with a hook, got him out on his front foot.
Gonzalez 0 for 4 this year with the bases loaded. And that's the situation right now, top of the 11th. 1-1 game. Robertson deals. Quickly, 0-2. Kenny, what does Robertson go with now? That bouncing breaking ball or the fastball again?
I don't know if you take a chance on bouncing one, because if you get too much of an erratic bounce, it'll get by Cervelli. Maybe a runner would score. I think if you're going to lead him, you try and get him to chase something out of the strike zone, breaking ball away but not in the dirt, or a high fastball just out of the zone. Try and get him to chase upstairs. Looks like that's what they're going to try. Yep. Didn't get it up high enough. Well, the count remains 0-2. And that's what Cervelli's going to. Let's talk over this next pitch or two. You know, maybe a verbal sign as opposed to giving an actual sign, which means a runner at second striking out if you take a less of a chance. A runner at second. Buck was the catcher, influencing the hitter.
The 0-2. Line drive just over the leaping try of A-Rod. 1 run scores. Everybody else moves up a base. It's a line drive single by Gonzalez. And the Blue Jays have taken a 2-1 lead, their first lead of the afternoon. And that's going to do it for Robertson as Joe Girardi's going to come get the baseball.
Looked like a hanging breaking ball for Gonzalez. Remember, he's in the hole. He's got 2 strikes. Yeah, that was right there for him. Right in the middle of the plate. He can almost not help but hit it hard. Just got it over the reach of Alex Rodriguez and Alex Gonzalez. Puts the Blue Jays in front.
Well, Chano Park comes in and he will relieve David Robertson. He inherits bases loaded. Finally found the Coors Light cold, hard blast, Kenny.
And it is Alex Gonzalez with the hit just over the reach of Alex Rodriguez. Man, he came close to getting that. And that is our Coors Light cold, hard blast. It was cold.
And David Robertson none too pleased. Trying to take it out on the mitt. Chano Park against Jose Bautista. And he starts him off with a breaking ball strike. Park is the 6th Yankee pitcher. Burnett started, Damaso Marte, Jabba Chamberlain, Mariano Rivera, David Robertson, and now Park. Park's numbers. The 0-1. 1-1. So the Yankees had a 1-0 lead with 2 outs in the top of the 8th inning. Then the single by Aaron Hill against Jabba Chamberlain tied the game at 1, and it forces extra innings. John Buck, pinch run for by Nick Green at third base.
Cito Gaston looking for some more speed in case there's a fairly short sacrifice fly attempt by the Blue Jays here.
Nick Green has worn a lot of uniforms, including the Yankees and the Red Sox. Check swing and a foul tip. Bases loaded, 1 out. We're in the 11th. 2-1 Blue Jays. Pitch is high. Yankees will face Kevin Gregg, the closer, in the bottom of the 11th inning. And if You're looking ahead. Alex Rodriguez will lead it off. It'll be Rodriguez, Cano, and Posada. But the Yankees want to hold it right here at a 1-run deficit. They don't want to have to climb that high. And now you've got a situation where it's 3-2 and there's no place to put Bautista. Runners are staying put with 1 out, of course. Defense straight away. 3-2. Strike 3. Bautista down looking, and he is barking at Mark Wegner. Big strikeout, and Cito Gaston doesn't like it either. We'll take a look.
Target's low and away. And it's a matter of whether it's high enough, because it did have plenty of home plate. And I would think that it passed the front knee high enough. The ball was a breaking ball dropping down. We get another look right here. Ooh, my goodness. Well, he thought it was low. It was definitely had the plate.
He's going to get thrown out. Yeah. There he goes. You can bark only so long. And now Cito Gaston's going to get some. I don't know if it was Gaston that was thrown out or Bautista. But Gaston now is going to get his money's worth.
Well, if he wasn't thrown out, he's going to go pretty soon, because you can't argue balls and strikes.
Well, he's letting Gaston have a say.
Well, this is about as heated as I've seen Gaston get.
That's Dale Scott. He is the crew chief, so he's kind of shadowing the two of them so it doesn't get out of hand.
It'd be interesting to see the defensive alignment for the Jays in the bottom half of the inning.
Yeah, because they only have on the bench John McDonald, an infielder, and Jose Molina. Now McDonald can play the outfield if need be, but Bautista's your right fielder. So he was thrown out, and there's just so much that you're going to be allowed to argue. He let him bark at home plate and didn't throw him out. So here's Vernon Wells now with the bases loaded and 2 outs. A big strikeout for Chan-Ho Park. Foul back. That's impressive for Park. He's not been up there velocity-wise all year. 94 miles an hour. Remember, Nick Green pinch ran for the catcher, so Molina's going to have to catch. Maybe Nick Green could play the outfield. Pitch is outside.
Or Dwayne Wise is the designated hitter.
They lose the DH, yeah.
Lose the DH. And Wise by trade as an outfielder.
Now, Bautista's still in the dugout. That would lead you to believe that Cito was the one who got thrown out and not Bautista. So Cito Gaston, I believe, has been thrown out, and Bautista survived. So all of those machinations don't have to come into play. The 2-1. Now 3-1. Well, you would think that Park has to challenge Vernon Wells here.
It was Gaston who got thrown out of the game.
That's why he came out and got his money's worth. So Vernon Wells 0 for 5. And there's strike 2. This is such a big at bat. With Wise on deck. A 1-run deficit. That's certainly doable. All the runners are going to be going. And the Yankees want them to go out on the field and play defense. They don't want them to score. So what's left of the crowd looking for an out. They'll have to do it again as Wells spoils that fastball. the 3-2. He walked him, and that's going to force in a run. Nick Green will touch up, and the Yankees now trail 3-1 here in the 11th inning. So the 48th run batted in for Vernon Wells, a bases-loaded walk.
And once again, he went to the slider 3-2, just as he did with Bautista. Got the call with Bautista, but this was nowhere near being a strike as Vernon Wells lays off. 3-2 pitch. As you can see, easily ball 4.
Dwayne Wise swings and misses. The Blue Jays have had a bad road trip. It's a 10-game road trip. They're 1-6 in the first 7. They just got swept by the Indians. The 0-1. They've lost 5 in a row coming in. Only the Giants, who have lost 6 in a row, have a longer losing streak in the big leagues right now. But the Blue Jays trying to break it here as they're up 3-1, top of the 11th inning. Wise is the 8th batter to come to the plate. The 2-1. High fly ball, right center, long run for Granderson. He can't get there, and it's up against the wall. That is going to clear the bases. Wise going for 3, and he is going to make it. And the Blue Jays have broken this open. They lead 6-1.
Dwayne Wise, who did not start the game, he came on as a pinch runner. He gets probably the biggest hit. Tried to spill that fastball over the inside corner. Wise put a charge into it. I thought Granderson might have a shot at it, but he was playing more or less straight away. Ball to the gap in right center field. The runner's off with the crack of the bat with 2 outs. And you can see this is coming down almost right in your living room. It's going to fall in for a base-clearing triple.
Aaron Hill takes a pitch low as the Blue Jays have now batted around in the 11th. So Chan-Ho knows exactly it's time to back up home plate. And that's a lonely run for a pitcher.
Oh.
And Chan-Ho plunks Aaron Hill. And now Dave Allen will go out and talk to Park.
Fastball moving in right off the left shoulder. Hard to get out of the way for Hill.
Here's Overbay. Swing and a miss. Count 0-2.
Couple of off-speed pitches. Overbay swings and misses.
And the 0-2. Missed outside. So the Yankees came to within a 3-1 count of escaping the jam, allowing just 1 run. But then a walk to Wells to force a run made it 3-1. And then a bases clearing triple by Dwayne Wise made it 6-1. That's where we are right now. So David Robertson will get the loss in this game if the Yankees don't come back in the bottom of the 11th inning. A.J. Burnett pitched so well, he will just get a lower ERA for his trouble. Grounded softly to first. Teixeira will step on the bag, and that will finally do it. But 10 batters come to the plate for the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays score 5 runs, and the Yankees are booed as they come off the field. How'd they get there? One of the big reasons, the Land Rover drive of the game. Why get a car when you can own a Land Rover?
It's Dwayne Wise with the big hit as he lifts one to the gap in right center field. Over the head of Curtis Granderson. Dwayne Wise with a Land Rover drive of the game, a 3-run triple. That was his first triple of the season.
Somebody thrown in the towel? They lost themselves a jacket. New pitcher for the Blue Jays. It is Kevin Gregg, their closer. This is not a save situation. He has 18 saves so far.
.35 strikeouts in 30 innings.
Well, do the Yankees have a significant rally? Now, the Yankees have the best record in baseball, but if you want to be a little bit concerned, as a pitch to A-Rod is outside, the Yankee bullpen ERA is now 4.22, which is 8th in the American League. So it's below middle of the pack. And last year that was a strength. They're still trying to find their way. The one sure thing out there is Mariano Rivera.
I was going to say certain pitchers might be struggling some, but the ones you get in the game with the game on the line, the guy's been doing a pretty good job.
But if you think about it, Kenny, Mo has an under 1 ERA.
Yeah.
And if you took that out,
yeah,
it would be over 5. So the rest of the group has struggled. Count 2-1.
Yeah, you go back to the 8th inning. When Joppa walked Bautista to get the ball rolling for the Jays, they were able to tie the game in the 8th. The Yankees up 1-0.
The 2-2 to A-Rod. Missed outside, 3-2. It's Rodriguez, Cano, and Posada to start it off against Gregg.
Gregg has a somewhat, I've always thought he had somewhat of an unusual delivery. He kind of just slings the ball towards home plate. Working from the stretch is just about all relievers do.
Locked it into deep center. But Wells is there, and he'll put it away for the first out.
Here's the motion I was talking about. Just not that much of a high leg kick, but just slings the ball towards home plate.
Here's Cano. And a strike. Robinson has been held hitless today. He's 0 for 4. 2 fly balls to center, a strikeout, and a ground ball to second. So Cano now 2 for his last 15. There's a strike. (6-1) Blue Jays over the Yankees. Here in the bottom of the 11th, the 0-2. Tries to pull an outside pitch and dribbles it slowly to Hill. And the Yankees are down to their final out.
Well, Cano's hitting's going to have to wait one more day. This is a game in which he didn't reach safely. And Cano had reached in 71 of 78 games. Reached safely this year.
And how about this? Mark Teixeira today, 0 for 3, and that'll snap his 12-game hitting streak. So the Yankee offense has sputtered of late. They got shut down by Lee, shut down by Felix Hernandez. They struggled against Ryan Roland Smith yesterday, but won the game against the bullpen, David Artsma. And they weren't exactly a ball of fire offensively on the Arizona-LA Dodgers swing.
But they went 4-2 on that trip.
Yep. Popped up and out of play. Blue Jays really shift dramatically against most of the Yankee left-handed hitters. The third baseman, Hoffpower, is way off the line, almost playing where the shortstop would play. And the shortstop, Gonzalez, plays up the middle. They've done that with Swisher. They've done that with Posada.
But interestingly enough, when you look at the outfield, they're kind of straight away.
Breaking ball, strike 3, and that will do it as the Yankees lose a tough one. 6-1, they go down in order in the 11th inning. Yankees had this game. It looked like they did 1-0 as they go to the top of the 8th inning, but Java gave up a run, and then the rest of the bullpen gave up 5 runs in the 11th as the Blue Jays snapped their 5-game losing streak. You have to stick around for the postgame show to find out who's today's Chevy player of the game. And that's the 3rd game the Yankees have lost when leading after 7. They've only had 4 of those all of last year. Come on back, and then the postgame after that.